Oh, hang on. Don't mind me. Okay. Hi. What's going on? Loner box chat. If that even is your real name. Wait, hang on. Apparently, Trump did a. When was this? Did Trump do this interview on C-SPAN? Is that a thing? Yeah, we'll see. Forgot I had the stream on. Good. I hope all you idiots who weren't paying attention are now paying attention. Even if it took a bit of shock tactics. Hang on, guys. Look. Guys, I'm going to show you guys. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can maintain. Let's see if we can keep that ball in our hands. Okay, I see. If I just pace myself, because I feel like I'm going slow when I get 120 and shit. Okay. But if I attempt these fucking bursts, that's when all hell breaks loose. Also, I don't know, chat. I need your opinions on something. I've been asked, maybe, because I'm going to be in the States anyway. I've been offered to maybe do a debate with actual justice warrior on illegal immigrant crime. My understanding is that illegal immigrants don't commit as much crime, but I don't know why he would accept that debate, because he's like he's the big crime guy, isn't he? He loves crime. I don't know how confident I am in debating that shit in a fucking public space. I don't know. I'll probably say no because it's just not my area. But yeah, we'll see. I need to do some things eventually. Mm. 121. It's like, am I actually gonna? If I can get an average to even like 105, I thought that would be a good boost for this week. Do a shitload of research. That guy's slime. I know he's slime. I've seen him being slimy. Yes. I don't know if I care to do research on fucking oh god, I hate it. Crime. Whoa. So even if okay, yeah, the bursting thing doesn't actually help. Agree and surprise him with destiny. No, that's. I should probably just give them a list of like the things I actually would like to debate. Because I'd like to do Israel Palestine. I'd like to do Ukraine. I'd like to do. I could even do January 6th, to be honest, or UK politics. Mm. Ah, 103 even with a big mistake there. Okay, UK riots. I'll probably just say no to the crime thing, but say I'll debate these things, X, Y, Z. It's probably better. Because Lauren didn't get back to me on UK riots, so I don't think she wants to debate that. Whoa. Ah! How am I inspect element? Okay. Bit of a handicap. What fucking button did I press there? Holy shit. This might be a quick burst one. Okay, let's see. I know I started off well. Yep. 121. Yeah, that one's a nice little bursty one. Damn, is my average over 112? Oh shit. We'll see. There's no way I'm learning this fast though. Like, I thought it would take longer. Ah, okay. Spoke too soon. Oh god. That was really shit. No, it's whenever I do a few, my hands get really fucking stiff. So maybe I've got like fucking nerve problems. I don't know, or I'm just tense. Should I just leave it there? That was like 6 races. Okay, 6. I do 4 more. Is the clip I've just seen of Hassan reacting to the hostage girl Noah partying new? Guy's an absolute cretin. I know there's a recent clip of him laughing at Kamala mentioning the rapes. But I don't know. I couldn't say. Did Westside Tyler talk to FT Signifier? What?
Last couple years.
I don't know. Oh, I never watched this JRAG Progressive Victory video. Or actually also...
Remember the Holodomor?
Thanks for the sub, Admiral Bones, on Twitch. Thanks very much, even though I'm not even streaming on Twitch right now. I mean, if anyone's got the link to the Hassan thing, you can show me. Why not? Kanye was never good. I feel like Kanye's pretty good, but okay. Whatever. What is this I need to look at? The online left is cooked. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Hassan got it taken down from Twitch. So there's no streamable of it. Habibi. Habibi what? Hamoud. Okay. Thought I was saying Hamas. I'm brain poisoned. Whoa. What the? Slow down. Oh, God. 106. Okay. The streamable got mass reported. What the fuck, man? So it's just gone. It's gone forever. Interesting. Damn, that's a lot of power, eh? You can make a clip chimp go away. You can make your N-words go away. Nice. Fuck. What the? Why am I fucking up really simple words? No, Jesus Christ. I don't know what happens. Every time my fucking, like, every random moment, like, my brain just turns to absolute mush. You posted a link in the stream chat Discord. Oh, so it does exist. There's no mass
And
report
that's
in
not
this.
going to change.
I think we saw this, no? I think we saw this one. This isn't the video. I thought you were talking about the video of the partying people. No, we watched that. We can watch it again if you want. Wow. 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 I lost like 10 there for a fucking full stop. Okay. Mass reported a stream. I didn't know you could mass report a streamable. That's crazy. Lady Gaga. Nice. Right, one more. Let's just go slow so that we don't end up dragging it way down. I feel like did everyone just give up on that one? Huh. They threw. Huh. Okay. So our average is still above 104. 104, that's good. Okay. Although these 4 races were kind of horrible. It feels like I'm making a billion mistakes, but my accuracy is still 97 plus. I don't understand how that works. Okay, whatever. Huh. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay. 90 fell off. Yeah, but I also had 120, 121. So look, some words are just hard. I've noticed, like this word here, I'll, is hard. Like capital I will. Like that apostrophe, because you have to go there's a stretch. That's a difficult one. I don't know. It's dull, isn't it? It's not sad. What if I just did this for like 3 hours without stopping? Anyway. So yeah, I tried DMing Lauren for our UK riots debate. She didn't answer. I tried tagging that Javad person after him saying that I should tag him on Twitter if he wants to debate. If I want to debate, and he hasn't responded either. So, So that's 2 people who I have not been able to get responses from. Not easy. It's not easy out there. Fuck. It's okay. I'll just keep on snooping. Let's see. Traumatized by motormouth Borelli. Actually, my right hand is just quite sore today. My wrist feels really fucked. Probably from gym yesterday. Anyway. Hey, Heisenberg. How's it going? The Traveling Israel Hassan video was funny. Nice. Good.
And that's not going to change. But let's take a
So
step.
this is apparently the clip that got deleted. They got mass reported or whatever.
October 7. 1,200 people were massacred. Many young people who were simply attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would.
Remember, I thought the take was very nuanced, and we're not denying rapes happened. We're actually saying that it's unlikely Hamas ordered it. We're saying there's no evidence for that. Meanwhile, every time someone mentions that rapes happened, we're going to laugh at them. All right. Oh, God.
And how it does so matters. They're done.
But no change in policy.
Yeah, kind of retarded. I don't know. Okay. Owen Jones Gaza raids take. Don't mind if I do.
Over the last nearly 11 months now, our attention has unsurprisingly mostly been on Gaza. That's where, of course, the focus has been of Israel's genocidal onslaught.
Oh, yeah.
Israel's wiping out of much of Gaza's infrastructure from the face of the earth, the mass slaughter of tens of thousands of its people. We could go on. But we shouldn't forget the West Bank,
What's wrong with my fucking
which
headphones?
is where...
Jesus, my headphones are becoming mental. That's not his audio, is that? That's mine. All right.
The 3 million Palestinian citizens live. That's an even bigger Palestinian population than Gaza's pre-war population. Now, the West Bank has been under direct Israeli military occupation since 1967 as part of the longest belligerent occupation in modern human history. And in practice, Israel has long been illegally annexing the West Bank. Now, as the International Court of Justice, the highest court on earth, recently ruled, the West Bank is under illegal Israeli occupation. It endorsed what international and Israeli human rights organisations have said for a long time, that a system of apartheid is enforced there. Now, there are around 700,000.
Remember, they didn't say that. It's not even, I don't think the ICJ judges didn't even actually vote on that. It was just something that the president said during the hearing. And he didn't say apartheid. He put he said it was under a certain statute that involved apartheid and also like racial discrimination and segregation and things like that. So it didn't necessarily mean apartheid either. There's a whole thing from Nolte talking about it afterwards. I don't think the judges actually voted on whether or not it's apartheid. But anyway.
Israeli settlers living there in around 150 illegal settlements and 128 illegal outposts. And even before the 7th of October, the Palestinian population were being terrorized. In 2023, before the 7th of October, around 240 Palestinians that year, in the first 3 quarters, had been killed by Israeli security forces and settlers. Around 40 of them were children. But since the 7th of October, there has been a pogrom waged against the Palestinian population in the West Bank, with over 600 Palestinians being killed since then, around 146 of them children, which is itself
These guys love using any kind of like Holocaust adjacent language like genocide or pogrom. I'm like an ongoing pogrom since that's how pogroms work. You can say that there have been pogroms in the West, but you can describe like Huara as a pogrom, but to say like an ongoing pogrom, is that what it is now? Is a pogrom just like when there are military operations every now and then? For 10 months, okay.
4 times as many Israeli children killed on the 7th of October. Obviously, countless thousands of Palestinian children and tens of thousands overall of Palestinian civilians have been killed in Gaza since the 7th of October. Meanwhile, Israeli forces have razed hundreds of homes in the West Bank to the ground and displaced thousands of Palestinians from their homes and seized around 37,000 acres of Palestinian land. We've seen settlers on the rampage waging terrorist attacks against the Palestinian population, described as terrorism even by the head of Israel's security agency, the Shin Bet, leading to denunciations from Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir. In practice, the settlers' reign of terror is facilitated, enabled, protected by the illegal Israeli military occupation and apparatus. Now, today the Israeli state has launched an invasion of the occupied West Bank. According to the Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz, this is an attack on terrorist infrastructure. Well, we've heard that before, and we've seen the consequences.
Wait, why don't you just look it up? Why don't you just look up to see how many people were claimed by Hamas's militant organizations or by PIJs? Is he going to mention that at all? But again, there's not even an excuse anymore because you can look in the mainstream media and they will say that Hamas and other militant groups have claimed these people who have died. Come on, is he going to mention that in this 11-minute 50 video?
But he also said something very striking. He said, we must deal with the threat just as we deal with the terrorist infrastructure in Gaza, including the temporary evacuation of Palestinian residents, or whatever steps are required. This is a war for everything, and we must win it. As Palestinians have learned with much bitterness.
Because it's interesting that they focus on that quote, that we should approach it in the same way as Gaza, because if you believe that quote, like if you're going to use that as the center of your argument, then as soon as you realize that they've targeted militants in the West Bank, not random civilians, then that would mean that their approach to Gaza was to target militants as well. So if Owen stumbled across the wrong newspaper article, he would just find like his entire argument about Gaza would be demolished by that quote. Because so far, I think again, I think pretty much every single person who's died right now since this raid has been a militant. Maybe barring 1 or 2. I don't know. I haven't looked at the ones from today, but from yesterday and the day before, they were all claimed by militant groups. Not by the party, by militant groups. Yeah.
Over and over again since 1948, being driven from their home is anything but temporary. This is, again, ethnic cleansing. Oh. Indeed, the foreign minister here is explicitly stating that the West Bank must be dealt with the same as Gaza. The Gazification of the West Bank therefore may beckon. This is the biggest Israeli military offensive in the illegally occupied West Bank in nearly 2 decades, in the midst that was back then of the Second Intifada. At least 10 Palestinians have reportedly been killed today. There have been airstrikes, including on Monday, with strikes on the Nur Shams refugee camp, in which children, amongst others, were killed. The United Nations warns that the situation in the occupied West Bank could
So you're going to make one mention of militants getting killed. I think the Nur Shams strike that killed kids, this was before, wasn't it? This isn't recent, is it? Or is it 5 including 2 children were martyred? Okay. This is from 4 days ago. When did the raid start? August 27th, yeah. Wait, if this is August 27th, Wait, no way. No, 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 no. No, no, he's not talking about the airstrike, is he? The one that... Oh, wait. Did I make notes on this? I did. What are these names? Is this what he's talking about? Adnan Aysar Jaber and Mohammed Ahmed Mohammed Alian. I recognize those names. Is it this upload? Al-Qassam Brigades mourns the martyrdom of two Mujahideen, Jibril from Kalkilia and Muhammad Karawi from Nur Shams camp. So these two are Al-Qassam Brigades. These two, Jibril and Karawi. What did they say here? Karawi was 1920, okay. And down here, they're Mujahid brothers. The martyr Mujahid. I'd have to see how often they decide that people, again, Mujahid, usually if they just are a civilian who died, they would just say Shahid. They wouldn't say Mujahid, generally, but this might be an exception. Adnan Aysar Jaber, Muhammad Alian, Muhammad Yusuf. These are the children, right? 16 years old, Jaber's 15. So they are listed as fighters, not Al-Qassam brigades. Were they on the... I wonder if they were on the Al-Aqsa Martyrs page. Oh, I just wanted to see if any other particular brigade actually claimed them, or if it was just Hamas called them fellow Mujahideen. Are we still pretending children can't be militants? Why would he not mention this if he's got the specifics of 5 people dying in an airstrike in Nur Shams? He's talking very specifically of one particular strike. Why wouldn't you mention that all 5 of them, 100% 2 of them, have been claimed as militants? Why wouldn't he do that? It's unlikely Hamas, like the Al-Qassam brigades, would be having these two because they don't actually use child soldiers very often. Islamic Jihad, on the other hand, do seem to. They seem to recruit people a bit earlier. So Owen Jones characterizes that as what?
Back then of the Second Intifada. At least 10 Palestinians have reportedly been killed today. There have been...
Oh, this is on day 1. So this is every single person who's died as a militant. And this is even on mainstream media. Not just on Hamas's website. Guardian. Where's the Guardian one? Indian, West Bank. This is the updates page. Here, right? Is it on this updates page? Hamas said 10 of its fighters have been killed in the West Bank. This is, you can even get this in the Guardian updates. Why? Okay.
Second Intifada. At least 10 Palestinians have reportedly been killed today. There have been airstrikes, including on Monday, with strikes on the Nur Shams refugee camp, in which children, amongst others, were killed. The United Nations warns that the situation in the occupied...
Why wouldn't he mention this? Like he must have done a bit of reading on this. How does he know any of this happened? Did he just go on Al Jazeera and just call it a day, or did he just get it off Twitter headlines? It wasn't difficult to find this. It's like one of the first articles I looked at said that Hamas had claimed 10 fighters on that day when 10 people died. The only caveat here, this is a slightly inaccurate in the sense that they weren't all Hamas fighters, but they have been all claimed as fighters. children amongst others. It's like he's trying to hide something. What the fuck? Now, the two 15, 16-year-olds who died are listed as mujahid here, which would suggest they were fighters, but and then two who were from the actual Al-Qassam brigades. The other ones would have most likely been either Al-Aqsa martyrs or Islamic Jihad, or even, I don't know if PFLP are involved at this point. But you don't get called a mujahid if you're just like a random person. Usually that would just be martyr, shahid. But, Owen.
The West Bank could worsen dramatically if the Israeli security forces continue to systematically use lethal force. Note they said unlawful, and ignore violence perpetrated by the settlers. Let's listen to the Palestinian-American analyst Omar Badr, who I've interviewed on this channel.
What do you make of this military operation?
Yeah, I think the context of it is worth noting, which is the fact that
it's like a fucking circular human centipede, isn't it? Like the same thing with Kyle Kalinske linking this clip. Again, I honestly think he had this clip, like he had this soundbite as a default before anything even happened. I think like last week, maybe even 10 days ago, around the time when that botched the suicide bombing attempt happened in Tel Aviv, the joint operation between Al-Qassam and Al-Quds brigades. I think that happened. And he was like, wait, there's probably going to be an attack on the West Bank soon. Tell you what, let's just start like a little script, okay? Attack on the West Bank. So what we're going to say, this is them engaging in the slow motion ethnic cleansing that they've always been planning. They've always wanted to take over Jenin refugee camp and Nur Shams. Yeah, they've always actually, that's actually quite high on the list of priorities for Israeli settlement in the West Bank. Totally, 100%. What else? Indiscriminate violence, genocide, just like Gaza. Yeah. Whenever people are killed, we'll just say Palestinians. We won't say if they're militants or not. But if they're children, we'll specify. I think he probably scripted all of this before he actually said anything, before anything even happened, because it doesn't apply to the events on the ground at all. Like every single thing he says does not apply to what just happened.
Israel has been intending to annex and ethnically cleanse huge parts of the West Bank for a very,
when he says huge parts, there are lots of parts of the West Bank that Israel would like to annex. Of all the parts of the West Bank that Israel is interested in annexing, probably at the very bottom of those lists would be Jenin and Nablus refugee camps or Nur Shams in Tulkar. Like these are like the last places in the entire West Bank. Like once they've got everything else, if Israel was like a maximalist Israeli, you know what they would do? A maximalist Israeli annexation project would look like this. What would you call it? Okay. They would probably annex all the way around these areas, like the more densely populated parts. And then after that, once they start closing in on places like Tulkarm and Nablus and Jenin, they would close in, and then the last places to go would be the refugee camps. Like, I don't even.
very long time, and in fact has been actively doing that in slow motion. And I think that they saw an opportunity, given that the world is distracted by the horror that Israel is unleashing on Gaza, to kind of escalate in the West Bank. And so what we've seen over the past several months is more than 650 Palestinians being killed by Israeli soldiers and settlers throughout the West Bank. In any other context, this would be a crisis that everybody would be talking about, but only in the shadow of the genocide that Israel is unleashing on Gaza has this kind of passed without people really paying attention. And naturally, whenever you see this kind of violence...
Why are we watching this? Oh, because it's someone else's take. This is Owen Jones's video. So Owen Jones and Kyle Kalinske have both just played this clip. Which is probably like the most disconnected passage you could ever give on the events in the West Bank right now. It's so bizarre. It's like hyper reality.
There's going to be resistance to it, and in some cases, violent resistance as well. And now Israel sees itself as somehow compelled to launch this military operation, seemingly under this delusion that has been disproven over and over again, that you can somehow kill and torture and maim and imprison and suppress and oppress Palestinians into some kind of victory out of all this. But this is really the same tape being played over and over again. And it's a recipe that will lead to endless violence and bloodshed until there is a fundamental change in Israel's attitude towards Palestinians.
And what about the timing of this particular raid? I mean, should we be reading anything into that?
When they talk about timing, the correct answer here is this is 10 days after an attempted suicide bombing in Tel Aviv from, I think the people came from Nablus, but it was Al-Qassam and Al-Quds brigades. That's probably the correct answer, but
I think Israel is under tremendous pressure of the fact that they are stuck in Gaza without a strategic victory.
Oh, never mind.
They promised that they would be able to defeat Hamas quickly, that they would be able to free the hostages. They've been able to achieve neither of these things. In the north, they're stuck in a status quo where they're supposed to restore their deterrence and intimidate Hezbollah across the Lebanon border. They have failed miserably at that. And I think whenever Israel finds itself cornered and is in desperate need for a victory for its public, all they know how to do is unleash indiscriminate violence against Palestinians. And this is the playbook that they actually go to. And I think that this is the moment that we find ourselves in, is that Netanyahu is desperate for some sort of image of an accomplishment. And he thinks by launching this massive, large-scale operation in the West Bank, in which, relatively speaking, given the dynamics under occupation, Israel can claim some sort of victory out of at the end of this, that this is somehow going to play well for Netanyahu politically and try to salvage an image that has been completely tarnished over the past 10 months.
Well, indeed, the genocidal onslaught against Gaza has slaughtered so many Palestinians, unleashed so much destruction amidst some of the worst atrocities of the 21st century, but it's also failed on its own terms. All Israel knows what to do in these circumstances is to further export more violence. Now let's listen to Mustafa Barghouti. He's a Palestinian politician who, again, has been interviewed on this channel.
Can we just get your take on how troubling these raids are? Israel's foreign minister describing it as a war. What has been the reaction there, first of all?
Well, these are not just raids. It's a huge military operation. It's actually an act of war that is taking place, invading 4 major areas. But not only that, they are invading so many communities and villages all over the West Bank to arrest people. The most important thing here for the audience to understand is that the West Bank is an occupied territory by the Israeli army. We've been under Israeli military occupation since 57 years. And what Israel is doing now is conducting a war on occupied people, which is a total violation of any international law that rules how an occupying power should behave. They are using airstrikes, they are using air force, they are using tanks, they are using bulldozers. And what they try to do now in the West Bank is to transfer the acts of genocide and ethnic cleansing that they are doing in Gaza into the West Bank. And that is all done by this Israeli fascist government, which is run by illegal settlers like Smotrich and Ben Gvir, who are trying to destroy the whole infrastructure of these areas. And their goal is clear. Katz, the foreign minister of Israel, has just declared that ethnic cleansing should be conducted of the cities of the West Bank, including these refugee camps.
So, well, there we go. Absolutely.
There we go.
Gratuitous violations of international.
Can people like this just like, can there be some kind of on the record, like if they're going to ethnically cleanse the Nur Shams and Jenin refugee camp in the next 5 years? Again, the understanding is so bare bones. I mean, Mustafa, he knows what he's doing, whatever. Owen Jones, Omar Badr, and all that. Yeah, I think they just don't understand how like nonsensical this idea is. Is that there are so many parts of the West Bank that Israel would annex before, like literally the last places standing would be places like Nur Shams and Jenin refugee camp. But yeah.
Law, but Israel has the protection of the world's hegemon, the United States, and so is treated as being above international law. Now, in terms of settlers, and there are obviously huge numbers of settlers in the West Bank. Now, let's listen to a settler from Texas, the United States, who wishes to settle illegally on an annexed and ethnically cleansed Gaza. She was interviewed on Channel 4 News.
This blonde lady,
the idea of you
nuts.
Coming from America to here, settling in potentially in Gaza, kicking Palestinians out, a lot of people would see that as settler colonialism.
It's not really colonialism, it's a return. My grandparents were kicked out of Israel by Arabs who were trying to establish a Palestinian state, and they had to leave for their survival. And I'm just
I didn't know Lauren De Laguna went blonde and decided to become a settler. That's fucking crazy, bro.
back and fulfilling their dream. That would be the first thing. The second thing is, I think that, and I know this is a minority view, I think colonialism gets a bad rap. Like, genocide is bad, but colonizing places that are genocidal and they have bad ideology, it's good.
When did Arabs kick? I mean, she might have had family that came from fucking the West Bank, right? Before 48? That might be what happened?
Come in and correct their views.
What do you think?
Or it might have just been like the Muslim conquest and she's just guessing. I don't know.
Did happen to the people who were already in Gaza?
So I think that there's a couple of possibilities. The one that I think is the most realistic is we got to ask other countries for help. I know that Spain was willing to take a couple of million. I know Russia said
This
they would
person
take
is such a good propaganda tool for like pro-Palestinian people as well, because she's just like such a stereotype of a settler. She looks like she's from a different century in this fucking trad wife gown. She's blonde. Her kid is blonde. She's as white as they come. Like, it's just such a... I can totally see why this person is... why this person made it like viral. She's like fulfilling the stereotype so well.
A couple of thousand.
To a lot of people, that would sound like you're advocating for ethnic cleansing.
I don't think so, because Palestinian isn't an ethnicity, it's an ideology, and it's an ideology that says that they want Jews dead, and so we want them as far away from Jews as possible.
The Richter's grin at the end there. Shudder. You can hear the mentality there, which drives Israeli settler colonialism, and indeed a genocidal mentality, which is that Palestine.
Oh God, I just can't take any attempts at like appear emotionally convinced from Owen Jones.
Is not real. That to be a Palestinian is an ideology
Shudder.
that says they want Jews dead. Therefore, basically portraying, defining Palestinians as an existential menace. Throughout history, we know what happens when entire peoples are defined as an existential menace.
Tell the Jewish person
precondition for
Owen
genocide, which is, again, the world turned upside down when she talks about genocidal mentality. But again, we've seen this throughout history. The Hutu extremists, when they murdered the Tutsis in the Rwandan genocide, justified that on the basis that the Tutsis would commit genocide against the Hutus unless they killed them first. Now, she talks about indigenous Palestinians who've lived on this land for generations, centuries even, as she moves there from Texas. It is clear that the Israeli state wants to drive the Palestinian population out of Gaza and out of the West Bank. What you hear from that settler, as extreme as it sounds, is merely an honest exposition of what the Israeli state is seeking. The Israeli state will, in practice, slaughter those who do not leave in a genocidal frenzy, slaughter, terrorise, you name it. All of this is enabled and indeed facilitated by the US and key Western allies. And unless
what he's saying is true there, because what he's saying about Israelis is basically the same shit, right? Like, again, most Israelis, or at least a large number of Israelis, that support the government, right? Or they vote for the government. If you're saying that calling another group a genocidal threat is genocidal in and of itself, then what are you doing? Such a stupid argument. What the fuck?
it is for the genocidal mayhem we've seen in Gaza is only going to be the beginning. Please like and subscribe. Do leave your thoughts, your comments, as ever. Do help keep the show on the road at patreon.com/OwenJones84. Listen to the podcast. Speak to you soon.
Okay, so no mention of the fact that any militants at all were killed in those raids in the West Bank, let alone most of the people who died, if not all of them. God damn it. And that's just... okay. You're a horrible human. You crap on anyone who doesn't believe there was rape on October 7th, yet you said, even with the ICJ, the UN top court says there's a genocide in Gaza, you won't believe. The ICJ has not said there's a genocide in Gaza, though. I don't think they will. I don't think they will rule that there's a genocide in Gaza. If they do, it'll be because they found something that we haven't seen publicly yet. Because something has emerged that no one is aware of so far. No, you said even if they do. If they do, with the current evidence that we have now, that we've all publicly seen, then yeah, I wouldn't believe that. Why? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with just reviewing the evidence when it comes up? I don't have to agree with every single court opinion, do you? Do we agree with everything that the United States Supreme Court, or like what? It will take years before the ruling. Yeah, and in that time, they might uncover a lot of shit that we don't know about now. I never said genocide was impossible. Right. I just don't think it's happened yet. Based on the information we have, you know, that's a. But there's also not that information coming out of Gaza right now, so it's like, Nice try though. You can try another argument if you want. God. Do I want to watch? Do you agree with the ruling that the occupation is illegal? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Where? Ooh. God, they really spoke for 4 hours. Okay. My headphones are fucked, by the way. Hang on. I don't know what happened, but I think it's the cable. I hope it's not the headphones themselves, but the audio in the right and the left ear just keeps fucking dying. So I don't know if I need to tighten something or maybe just change. I'd have to change the cable first. And if the cable, these aren't the kind of headphones where you can replace parts. I think you just need to get no rape happened October 7th. Why do you believe that? Okay, now I'm going to turn it back on you, Shars. Why do you believe the UN when you think it agrees with you, but not when they don't agree with you? The UN said that there is good evidence for rape on October 7th. What's wrong with you? Is it because you're one of those retards who needs to see fucking video footage before you'll accept that it happened? A bunch of stripped bodies and a bunch of witness statements isn't enough, apparently. Check if there's anything fastening between whatever's loosened. Well, there could be a fuck ton of dust in there, but... Or like lint. What is this? It's like it's a special jack though, because it's got like a lock on it. So I'd need to get a thing particularly for these headphones. Because it locks. You put it in and you twist it. So it's not just a 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch. It's a bit different. What are these headphones? ATH M50X. Phones, cable. That's okay. So do you realize that you're not answering my question at all, Shars? You're not answering my question at all. Come in Discord or get banned. I want to hear you try to justify your opinions. If you want to be that kind of bold. Any cable intended for ATH M50 or Sennheiser will work for it. It's a standard twist clock mechanism. Lorna didn't answer either. I did. Not every UN report is equal. Obviously, the ICJ, like, do you know how big the UN is? Just because you agree with one UN report means you have to agree with all of them. No, I would depend on the merits of the evidence. That's why when I see a UN report, I read it and I see if I agree with either the legal interpretations that they've made, or if they've addressed a particular questions in a good enough way, or if they've actually like redefined a term or changed precedent as they've gone through the case. Yeah, it matters. Stop fucking typing and come in the Discord. The coiled one. Do I really want the coiled one? Oh no, this is a new one. I used to have the coiled one. Maybe I still have the coiled one. Do I? Why did I get rid of the coiled one? Did it stop working? Oh, maybe the coiled one fucked up as well. That is actually very possible. This might be why I fucked it. Okay. What's happening here?
On the right of the political spectrum, always in good faith with empathy, rigor, and backbone. Sometimes I fail.
Okay, it was a cable issue. Okay. Where is this guy? Who the fuck is Hugo? Hugo is someone who has had a pop at me as well, so. Let's see. A wild Lex appears. This is why removable cables are so important. Hell yeah. Platitude Lex. True. Still waiting. Still waiting in the Discord room. Would you say October 7th was a genocide? Not enough evidence to say either way. It depends on, like, it really just depends on the intent. I don't know. As far as the killing, it seems to be like they killed about as many people as they were capable of killing, so that would be a strong enough claim. It's not like they were holding back. But if they were doing it for political reasons, if they were doing it as a way to achieve some other wider goal, then that was the intent, then it wouldn't be genocide. Or it could have been that they had multiple goals, one of which was to try and kill people, to just take out in whole or in part the group, alongside political goals, in which case it probably would be genocide. I don't know. Why? Why is this dickhead not in the Discord? Why? Scale doesn't really matter. In every case I've seen on genocide, which is not many, scale is usually referenced as holding some level of significance. It's not necessary, but it is significant. Yeah. Perma for running. They did run, didn't they? They actually fled to the hills. There are 2 new people who joined the Discord, but neither of them have that same name. And neither of them are in the waiting room, so... Yeah. We'll see. Where the fuck is this person? Bruh. Okay. Is Lex on Xanax? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Sure. All right. Lex.
Sometimes I say stupid, inaccurate, ineloquent things, and I frequently change my mind as I'm learning and thinking about the world. For all this, I often get attacked, sometimes fairly, sometimes not. But just know that I'm aware when I fall short, and I will keep trying to do better. I love you all. This is the Lex Friedman Podcast. To support it, please check out our sponsors in the description. And now, dear friends, here's Cenk Uygur. You wrote a book.
Yeah.
A manifesto that outlines the progressive vision for America. So the big question, what are some defining ideas of...
Okay, I don't care about them talking about progressivism, communism, money in politics, fixing politics, don't care, meritocracy, far left, far right. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Bernie, Kamala, presidential debate, RFK, Young Turks, Joe Rogan, propaganda, conspiracy theories, Israel. Let's go to far left, let's go to Donald Trump. Because I have TDS. Okay.
Well, Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the two biggest criticisms of Trump.
Where the fuck did that Shars person go? Did they really just say okay to Discord and then flee to the hills? Like a fucking genocide victim? I don't know. What the fuck, man? Come on. Thanks for the $2. Do you think the Uyghurs are being genocided? It seems to be because of the fucking sterilizations.
Is the fake elector scheme. Out of that whole 2020 election, the fake elector scheme is the thing that really bothers me. And then the second thing across a larger time scale is the counterproductive division that he's created in, let's say, our public discourse. What are your top 5 criticisms of Trump?
Okay, so number one, I have the same exact thing as you. The fake elector scheme is unacceptable, totally disqualifying. So the fake elector scheme was a literal coup attempt. So he doesn't win the election. For folks who don't know, I need to explain why it's a coup attempt, because you just throw out words and then people get triggered by the words and then they go into their separate corners, right? So the January 6th rioters, they were not going to keep the building. That was not a coup attempt. It's not like, oh, the MAGA guys have the building, I guess they win, right?
It was kind of part of a coup attempt, though, because one thing it did do was it bought Trump more time. So that's more time for Trump to be president. And then also the violence was something that he actually attempted to utilize after the fact to pressure other legislators to go against the certification of the votes, because obviously if you multiply the numbers of people who are willing to challenge the certification of the votes, then or even some states who are wanting to recertify, then that would actually go quite strongly in his favor, and that would amplify the confusion even more and give Trump more wiggle room to consolidate power. So that kind of did matter. Like, it definitely was part of the coup attempt, I would say.
Oh, that was never going to happen. So what was the point of the January 6th riot? It was to delay the proceedings. Why did it matter that they were going to delay the proceedings? Because if you can't certify the election, they wanted general confusion and chaos so that the Republicans in Congress could say, well, we don't know who won, so we're going to have to kick it back to the states. In the states, they had the fake electors ready. And remember, the fake electors are not Trump's electors. Both candidates have a slate of electors, Biden's electors and Trump's electors. They go to the Trump electors first in this plan, and half the Trump electors go, no, I'm not going to pretend Trump won the election when he didn't win the election. So they're like, shit, now we got to come up with fake electors, okay? So they enlist these Republicans who go, yeah, I'll pretend Trump won, right? And so they sign a piece of paper. That's fraud, and that's why a lot of them are now being prosecuted in the different states. And so the idea is the Republican legislators then go, we're sending these new electors in, and we think Trump won Arizona and Georgia and Wisconsin, right? That was the idea. That was the plan. And then you come back to the House At that point, when there are two different sets of electors, the rule, constitutional rule, is the House decides. But the House decides not on a majority, because the Democrats had the majority at the time. They decide on a majority of the states. They vote by state. And the Republicans had the majority of the states. So in that way, you steal the election. Even though Trump didn't win, you install him back in as president. That is a frontal assault on democracy. And I loathe it. And then Trump, on top, just blabbers out, well, sometimes if there's massive fraud in an election, in other words, I think I won. I don't even think that. I'm just saying that I won, right? He says you can terminate any rule, regulation, or article even in the Constitution. No, brother, you cannot terminate the Constitution because you'd like to do a fake elector scheme and do a coup against America. Fuck you. Okay, so I'm never going to allow this wannabe tyrant to go back into the White House and endanger our system. And so you want to endanger the corrupt system? I'm the guy. Okay, let's go get that corrupt system and tear it down. If you want to endanger the real system, democracy, capitalism, the Constitution, then I'm your biggest enemy. So I'm never going to take that risk. And you see it every time he goes to talk to a dictator. Look, guys, I'm asking you to be principled, right? I asked the left of that, and we drive away some of our audience when we do that. So we got the balls to do that to our own side. So for the right wing, be honest. If it was Joe Biden or Barack Obama or Kamala Harris that went and wrote, quote, unquote, love letters to a communist dictator who runs concentration camps, you would say, communist, we knew it. Look at that. And Trump literally says about Kim Jong-un, we wrote love letters to one another. We fell in love. If a Democrat said that, they'd be politically decapitated, right? Their career would be instantly over, right? But Trump, whenever it's Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, don't get into Russia.
Hello? Hello?
Hi.
How's it going?
Oh,
You're breaking up.
huh? Hello?
There you are. Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hi, it's going good. How are you?
Yeah, fine. Why are you talking to me from inside a nuclear bunker? By a payphone.
Look at this Discord.
Oh. Oh, you're on a phone. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Are you meaning to show us your view?
Sure.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Just streaming. You're live. Do you know you're live?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
Russia. But it's just that he's a strong man, right? Kim Jong-un or any Viktor Orban, Duterte in the Philippines, anytime it's a strong man that says, screw our...
I think I got mogged.
Constitution, screw our rules, I want total loyalty to one person. Trump loves him. He loves him. And he said once, he's like, oh, it's great. You go to North Korea or China.
Oh, I just realized why that call happened. Okay.
And when the leader walks in, everybody applauds. And everybody listens to what he says. That's how it should be here. No, brother, that's not how it should be here. You hate democracy. You want to be the sole guy in charge. As a populist, you should loathe Donald Trump.
I agree on the fake election scheme. Can you, Steelman, and maybe educate me on... there's a book, Rigged, that I started reading. Is there any degree to which the election was rigged, or elections in general are rigged? So I think the book Rigged, the main case they make is not that there's some shady fake ballots. It's more the impact of mainstream media and the impact of big tech.
So rigged is another one of those words that triggers people and is ill-defined, right? So let's begin to define it. So the worst case of rigged is we actually changed the votes, right? So a lot of Trump people think that that's what happened. Nonsense. That didn't happen at all. Okay. So then you move. And by the way, some on the left thought the votes were changed in the 2016 primary and it was literally rigged against Bernie. No, that did not happen. Okay. That is a massive crime and is very risky and is relatively easy to get caught. People who are in power are not interested in getting caught. They're not interested in going to jail, etc. It is a very extreme thing. Could it happen? Yes, it could happen. Have I seen any evidence of it happening in my lifetime? Not really.
Given how much people hate this, you probably just need to find evidence of one time. Like one vote being changed where you can trace them saying something in some room somewhere. That would just...
Well, we did find that, though, didn't we? We found that, like every election ever, a small handful of people will try to commit fraud. I think for the 2020 election, more Republicans attempted fraud than Democrats did.
Blowed. Just that evidence just doesn't seem to be...
Probably because they thought they were countering the Democrat fraud.
Yeah. And by the way, for the right wing who say verify the vote, goddamn right, verify the vote, right? So you want to have different proposals like paper ballots, recounts, hand recounts, which by the way, you had not the paper ballots, but the 3 recounts and a hand recount in Georgia and so many of these swing states. He lost. There was no significant voter fraud. Now, second thing in terms of rigging is voter fraud. So and the right wing believes, oh my God, there's voter fraud everywhere. Not remotely true. Heritage Foundation does a study. They want to prove it so badly. And it turns out no matter how much they move the numbers, the final number they got was it happens 0.0000006% of the time. Okay.
Wow.
It almost never happens. They found like 31 instances over a decade or 2 decades. So it's
what counts as voter fraud?
So a lot of times these days it'll be Republicans who do it because and it's not nefarious. It's a knucklehead who goes in and goes, I heard they're having undocumented, the illegals vote. So I voted for me and my mom even though she's dead. But that's fair. They're doing it. And they're like, no, brother, that's not fair.
Wow.
That's not how it works. You're under arrest.
So what about non-citizens voting?
So it's preposterous. Of course, non-citizens shouldn't vote and they don't vote.
But you don't have to prove citizenship when you're voting, right?
No, you do. I mean, it depends on what you mean by prove and when you vote, right? So you're not allowed to vote as an undocumented immigrant. So that happens up front. When you go to, again, it's a hall of mirrors. Like there's so many different ways to create mirages. So the Republicans will say, well, when you go to the voting booth, they don't make you show a passport. Yeah, that's true, but you showed it earlier when you registered, right? And so, and we can...
What, how does it, in the UK, you go there and you give your name, your address, your postcode, and they've got you on the list and they just cross you off the list. That's how you do it. So it wouldn't be too difficult in the UK to find, say your neighbor, your neighbor doesn't vote, but they're registered. You could just go there and pretend to be your neighbor. You could do that and it would be illegal. But I don't think that many people get caught doing it, though, if any. Oh, you actually have to show ID now in the UK. Yeah, because I had to show ID. Some states you show ID. What is it like in states where you don't have to show ID? Because this election was ID, but every election in the past, you didn't have to show ID. You just gave your name and your address. You used to not have to show any ID. You would just give your name and your address.
You can get into voter ID laws. There's all sorts of things, but we'll speed up the spectrum, right? So these things almost never happen. Voter fraud happens, but super rarely, and not enough to swing elections. And by the way, sometimes if there is an issue, they'll redo an election. There is actually a process for that, and it happened in North Carolina because Republicans did voter fraud in this one district, okay? And it wasn't the candidate himself. It was this campaign person, and they did ballot harvesting, but ballot harvesting, again, it depends on what you mean. If you're just collecting ballots, that's okay. He changed the ballots. That's not okay. And so they had to redo that election. So now the real place where it gets rigged is before elections. And there's two main ways that things get rigged. One is almost exclusively, no, that's not fair. I was going to say Republicans, but Democrats do it too in a different way. So Republicans will come in, like Brian Kemp is the king of this in Georgia. So he was against Trump doing it ex post facto. He's like, no, you idiot. We don't cheat after the election. We cheat before the election. Okay. So they'll go, well, I mean, you got to clear out the voter rolls every once in a while. And that's true because people die, people move, and you got to clean out the voter rolls. So then they come in and they go, we will clean them out mainly in black areas. Okay. Oh, look at that. There goes a couple of million black voters. Well, some of those, I suppose, are real voters, but they'll have to re-register, and then they'll find that out on election day.
Excuse me.
And, oh, well, no, sorry, you couldn't vote this time. Remember to re-register next time. And so do they go, hey, we're going to take black people off the voter rolls? No. What they do is, we're having more issues in these districts, right? Here's another way they do it. How many voting booths do you have in the area? So primarily Republican areas will get tons of voting booths, so you don't have to wait in line. You go in, you vote, you go to work, no problem. You're in a black area run in a Republican state. All of a sudden, hey, look, that city, well, we sent you 4 voting booths. Oh, you got 1 million people there? Well, what are you going to do? I guess you got to wait in line the whole day. You can't go to work, etc. So that's the way.
I refuse to believe it's only the Republicans that do that. I would say.
So that's why I paused.
Yeah, that just seems too obvious to do by both.
So you'll vote in favor?
Yeah. No.
By both
the
sides.
Democrats are so weak, Lex. They mainly don't do that, but they do the third thing, which is gerrymandering. So both Republicans and Democrats.
Also, their favorite flavors of messing with the vote. Okay.
Yeah. So gerrymandering is the best way to rig an election. That way the politicians pick their voters instead of the voters picking their politicians, right? So all these districts are so heavily gerrymandered that the incumbent almost can't lose. They'll push most of the voters into one district, most of the voters in another district, because they don't want competition, right? So then you're screwed. The vote isn't rigged, but the district is rigged so that the incumbent wins almost no matter what, right? So that's why we've gotten so polarized, because the gerrymandering creates like 90% of seats that are safe. So they don't have to compromise. They don't have to get to a middle. They could just be extreme on either side because they already locked it up. Okay, so that's the number one way to rig an election. Now, finally, the last part of it is maybe the most important, maybe even more important than gerrymandering, and that's the media. So it just happened to RFK Jr. It happened to Bernie in 2015. It happens to any outsider, right or left. The media, if you're an outsider, will say, well, radical. Number one, they don't platform you, right? So they're not going to have you on to begin with. Nobody's even going to find out about you. If nobody finds out about you, you're done for, right? So Bernie broke through that because he was so popular and the rallies were so huge that local news couldn't help but cover him. Jesus Christ, what are all these people doing in the middle of the city, right? And he slowly broke through that. But do you know that in 2015, as he's doing this miraculous run against Hillary Clinton, nobody thinks he has a chance. And here comes Bernie, and he's almost at 48%. He had 7 seconds of coverage on ABC that year. They just will not put you on. That is the number one way they rig an election. Bobby Kennedy Jr. sitting at 20% in a primary. No town hall. 20% is a giant number, right? And you're not going to do a town hall. You're not going to do a debate. 12% in the general election. A giant number in a general election. No town hall, no debate. If no one finds out about you, they don't know to vote for you, right? If they don't find out your policies. corporate media rigs elections more than anything else in the world.
Now, this is something you've been a bit controversial about, but the general sort of standard belief is that there's a left-leaning bias in the mainstream media because, as I think studies show, a large majority of journalists are left-leaning. And then that there's a bias in big tech. Employees of big tech companies from search
Well,
engines
thank God we have Twitter now to turn all that around, eh?
to social media are left-leaning. And that's a huge majority is left-leaning. So the conventional wisdom is that there is a bias towards the left.
Yeah. So
do you think, first of all, I think you've argued that that's not true, that there's a bias in the other direction. But whether there's a bias or not, do you think that how big of an impact that has on the result of the election?
Okay, so let's break that down. Tech and media are totally different. So let's do media first, and we'll do tech. So on mainstream media, corporate media, and I actually think that right-wing media like Fox News is part of corporate media. They just play good cop, bad cop. And so in that realm, the bias is not right or left, except on social issues. Okay, so and that's where that image comes from. On social issues, yes, the media is generally on the left. And right wing, sorry, but like this started in the 1960s, and the right wing got super mad at mainstream media saying that black people were equal to white people. That's not the case anymore. Okay, right wing, calm down. I'm not calling you all racist. But in the 1960s, were there racism? Was there racism? Of course, they wouldn't even let black kids into the schools, right? There was massive segregation in the South, but a lot in the North as well. And at that point, the mainstream media says, well, I mean, they are citizens. They should have equal rights. And the right wing goes, bias. Okay, yeah, I mean, you're kind of right. It is a bias. It is a bias towards equality in that case. But that is perceived as on the left. Now, fast forward to today, you don't have that on the racial issues as obviously as much as you had it back then, but on gay marriage, that existed for a long time where the media is like, well, they kind of should have the same rights as straight people, right? And the right wing went, bias, right? So, okay, you're kind of right about that, but at the same time, I would argue their position is correct, right? So, but can they go too far? Of course they can go too far. Okay, now, but that's not the main deal, guys. That's to distract you. The main deal is economic issues. And again, we say it ahead of time, and you can see if we're right or wrong, right? So we will tell folks when we get to an economic bill, you will see all of a sudden the guys who theoretically disagree, Fox News and MSNBC, close ranks. And you just saw it happen with price gouging. That issue of price gouging, all of a sudden, there's a lot of MSNBC hosts, CNN hosts, Washington Post writes an op-ed against it, and everybody panics and is like, no, you can't control anything a corporation does. This is wrong, right? Oh, what happened? I thought you guys hated each other. All of a sudden, you totally agree. Fascinating, okay? Same thing happened on increasing wages. When they were talking about increasing the minimum wage, Stephanie Rule, giant screed against it on MSNBC. All of a sudden, Fox News and MSNBC agree, right? Do not touch beloved corporations. So now that gets us to our real bias. It's not left or right. It's pro-corporate for all the reasons we talked about before. Corporate media, corporate politicians. So if you don't believe me today, whether you're on the right or the left, watch. Next time an economic issue, where do they fall? How do they react? When anytime it's a corporate issue, where does the media go, right? So that's the real bias of the media. And so since the real bias of the media is pro-corporations, that is not a left-wing position. That is considered more of a right-wing position. I even think that's a misnomer because to be fair to right-wing voters, they're not pro-corporations. They're not pro-big business. They're not pro-corruption. But the Republican politicians are, so it gets framed as a right-wing issue, right? So if you think that the corporate media is too populist, you just don't get it. They aren't. They hate populism. So now when you turn to tech. So tech's a complicated one because, yeah, people write the code. If they're left-wingers, they're going to have certain assumptions, and they might write that into the codes or the rules. And so, but they're also, generally speaking, wealthy. They're usually white. They're usually male. And those biases also go in. And there's a lot of people on the left who object to that bias, right? Okay, but that's a fair and interesting conversation, and one we have to be careful of, and one we could hopefully find a middle ground on. But that's not the major problem. The major reason why big tech gets attacked is because they are competitors of who? Social media competes with mainstream media. So mainstream media has been attacking big tech from day one, pretending that they're really concerned. Yeah, they're really concerned because that's their competition and they're getting their ass handed to them. So I did a story on the Young Turks about CNN article about all the dangers of social media. I'm like, guys, this is written by their advertising department, okay? And in fact, they go to the advertisers and they find a rando video on YouTube or Facebook, right, out of billions of videos, and they're like, "Look at your ad."
This is a much more boring conversation I thought it would be. But okay.
That is on this video. Do you denounce and reject every big tech company and every member of social media? And the advertiser's like, "Shit, yeah, I do." Right. Meanwhile, they're doing MILF Island on TV. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Okay, there's literally a show that came out recently where it's moms and their sons, and they fuck each other. Okay.
Oh wow!
What the
They don't have sex with their mom. They have sex with a different mom, or they date. But then
What's this program? Sounds fucking banging. What? Why isn't that on my radar? Why didn't that come up on my Netflix? What the fuck?
Then they go off into a corner, etc. Right? I'm like, you're doing this kind of like the worst, degrading, ridiculous, immoral programming, and then you found a video on YouTube that has a problem. Get the fuck out of here. You're just trying to kneecap your competition.
Let's talk about the saga of Joe Biden. So over the past year, over the past few months.
Wait, where's
the
just
rewind?
Where agree on everything here? Where's the fucking? What's he gonna say about Palestine? Why not?
What is the best way to achieve stability and peace in Israel and Palestine in the current situation and in the next 5-10 years?
If people wanted to get to peace, it's relatively straightforward. There's already a deal that was negotiated. The Saudis agreed to it, and they're an important player in this game. The Palestinians and the Israelis have initially agreed to it. Even Hamas has kind of agreed to it. That deal exists, and it's just waiting on the shelf to get done, right? And it's pretty straightforward. Israel gets out of the West Bank and Gaza Strip, but they keep X percentage. It used to be 4%, then it went up to 6%. It's probably a higher number now. The Palestinians keep losing leverage as we go, right? So you remember how hard it was to get a deal on Ukraine, I thought. That's a very complicated one. Israel's much more straightforward. Get the hell out of the occupying territories. Keep some of the those settlements are the worst thing. They're cancer.
Yep.
But anyway, I don't know. There is an answer to the settlements, and it's probably that Israel keeps them, even though that drives me crazy. No right of return for Palestinians. There'll be symbolic right of return for a couple of families. And so Palestinians go, oh, no way. Guys, you have no leverage. Take the deal. Take the deal. Okay.
Ooh, both sides.
So you're not going to get a right of return. Israel's not going to allow millions of Palestinians to go and vote in Israel. It would end the Jewish state. You have to get to a practical solution. So honestly, the number one person.
It sounds like he learned everything he knows about Israel and Palestine from like two different mainstream lefts. So he probably learned about the two-state solution and the right, like ceding the right of return and all that stuff from ages ago, probably during the peace process because he's an old guy. But then he learned about the genocidal fucking Jewish supremacy, apartheid, learned that more recently. And now these kind of like two narratives have just clashed together and molded into this very idiosyncratic perspective. Yeah.
So blocking it now is that
this is nothing new. The way he talks about the two-state solution, this is not new at all. He's just got like two ways of talking about Israel Palestine that have been picked up at very different times, it seems.
Yahoo, it's not even, that's obvious. That doesn't take a lot of courage to say that. He says publicly, I don't want a Palestinian state. I'm against a two-state solution. He's been monstrous. He's one of the worst terrorists of my lifetime. So that's easy. The right wing of Israel has lost its mind. So the Smotrich and the Ben Gavir is openly talking about ethnic cleansing and driving them into other Arab countries. This is the definition of ethnic cleansing. So, but is like I know that the Arabs are going to take the deal. Saudi Arabia cannot wait to take the deal because they just want to get business going, right?
You think Hamas takes the deal?
So I have a solution where you don't need Hamas. But yes, Hamas would definitely take the deal. Hamas already publicly said that they would even get rid of that Israel doesn't have a right to exist. But there's so much propaganda in American media. It's maddening, right? So, and this idea that you don't deal with Hamas is so dumb. So the reason it's dumb is you don't negotiate with your friends. You negotiate with your enemies. Well, I don't want to negotiate with them. I don't like them. Well, then you're not going to get to peace, right? But still, there is a path that doesn't include Hamas. So make a deal with Fatah that runs the West Bank. Then they get, right now, if Fatah went into Gaza Strip, they wouldn't be able to manage it because they don't have enough credibility. They're mainly seen as in cahoots with the occupiers, whereas Hamas is hardcore and fighting against the occupiers. But if Fatah delivers a peace, not only a peace,
there's a really interesting thing. I should maybe read through more of it. Is it just called the Palestine Papers? That leak of PLO documents that went to Al Jazeera that basically showed that behind closed doors, people like Abbas and Saeb Erekat and all these people were actually a lot more conciliatory towards Israel and were a lot more willing to concede on things. And like Abbas is quoted saying at one point that we're not going to do a full right of return because that would destroy Israel and all this kind of shit. Like there's no way. But obviously when they come publicly, they don't want to commit to anything because they're obviously mostly just afraid of like public backlash at home. I wonder if I want to ever read through all that because it is I think it does make sense to me that a lot of PLO negotiators were probably more willing to make concessions privately, but they don't want to commit to anything as a deal because they're worried that as soon as they sign a peace deal with Israel, it's always going to be maybe like less than what they could have got, and it's going to anger the population so much that like Abbas has like a family and shit like that, and they like it's not just him who would get killed; it's probably his family who would be in danger as well. So I don't know, but. That's assuming that those documents are like authentic. I think they are, but I know that the people from Fatah basically said that it was all propaganda. So yeah, yeah. I'll have to have a look.
Still, but a Palestinian state. Then they come in as heroes. So you make the deal with them, you let them run the Gaza Strip, and you empower them to drive out Hamas. That way, they do your dirty work for you in a sense, right? But good, because Hamas is a terrorist organization. They're not helpful. And especially if the Palestinians get a state, the violence has to stop immediately. That's the whole point. The trade is you get a state, Israel gets safety and peace.
So no more rockets at Israel.
No more rockets. If you do any other rockets, and Israel does the barbaric thing they just did, even I would say, hey, brother, we had a peace deal. Okay, so if you violate a peace deal and you do a bomb, they're going to do a bomb, and their bomb is much larger. Okay, so that, and by the way, can it work? It already has worked. Israel already did it with Egypt. So Egypt was 100 times Hamas. Egypt gathered all the Arab armies and actually physically invaded Israel when Israel could lose, and they did it several times. And Lex, at the time, not just the right, like the war hawks, but most people thought there's no way Egypt will keep that peace deal. Oh, they're suckers. We're giving them the Sinai Peninsula back, and then they're just going to keep bombing and attacking us. There hasn't been a single bomb from Egypt since the peace deal. Peace deals work. War gets you more war. Peace deals get you peace. And if you should never, this is true of all of life, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. So if you're saying, well, I'm not positive that
that's a good catchphrase. Otherwise, this conversation is really boring. Okay, fuck. You know it's not boring. You know it's not boring. Is FD Signifier talking about why the online left is cooked. Why?
All right, so we're not going to have fun with this one. We're not going to have fun with this one. It is what it is, but can't have fun all the time. I wrote a script for this. I'm looking right at it, but it feels inadequate. It feels like something that's going to require a longer follow-up video, but it also feels like something I've talked about so many times. It's just, It's just frustrating.
Okay.
But here we are. So everybody knows that Joe Biden dropped out of the presidential race and that Kamala Harris took his place. And we've seen a very surprising shift in attitudes toward electoral politics from a lot of online left-leaning, starting at just general liberals, going further left attitudes since Kamala came to the forefront. And
Like
that's
ContraPoints' Twitter. She was libbing out so hard over this shit, man.
created an interesting and concerning and very volatile conversation around what leftists should be doing in this American election. If you ask me, the gap between what to expect in a Kamala Harris presidency and what to expect in a Joe Biden presidency is not all that big. And if you were resigned to not voting for Joe Biden on the basis of certain principles, history tells us you probably should feel the same way about Kamala Harris. However, Kamala is not Joe Biden. In 2020, she ran left of Joe Biden on pretty much every issue. And if you take into account her time as a senator, she'd overall have one of the most progressive records for an incoming president in American history. Now, let's be clear, the bar is in hell. We're not talking about anything radical, world-changing, or even status quo changing from her record, but she at least seems to be flashing signs that she might be amenable to being pressured from the left, which Biden showed himself to be pretty much immune to. So for those of you who feel like
I'm sorry, a lot of this stuff that came from Biden, I feel like people are pissing in the wind if they don't think it was influenced by the rise of Bernie Sanders. Because didn't they actually talk when Biden was getting the nomination that they had a conversation to see what kind of things Biden would concede to or maybe move left on just to get Bernie's endorsement. And I don't think you would have heard things like writing off a bunch of the student debt or even like the measures in the fucking like the executive orders to promote trans rights in different states, or at least in the states that were more willing to, like the blue and maybe some of the purple ones. I feel like a lot of these conversations, like they wouldn't, or even if at a more of a state level, especially in Minnesota with Tim Walz, with the free breakfast and lunch for all the school kids and everything, and wiping out junk fees, reducing the maximum for like overdraft charges and things like that, changing, I think it was like income thresholds for a certain benefit. What was that one again, actually? There's an income threshold that got lowered. Oh, for time and a half overpay. Over-the-counter birth control. I feel like a lot of these things wouldn't have entered the public discourse because Biden, during the debates to become the Democrat nominee, was one of the more conservative appearing ones. He seemed very conservative. He seemed very like, he came off like a fucking, like a out of touch, hasn't even really come to terms with the Civil Rights Act kind of vibe. Like that's what he came off as, especially with Kamala and like the busing and all that kind of shit. Like, yeah, he had some really bad moments. But I think that shift, it absolutely came from the rise of Bernie. Like, so I don't know why they're saying that he hasn't been pressured by I mean, I know why. They're saying he hasn't had any influence from the left because he hasn't been what people like FD Signifier consider the left to be. Like, he hasn't defunded the police or any fucking stupid shit.
Move of Biden from the top of the ticket is something to respond to. Like that.
Like, how can you say there's been no shift left when literally like you've got unions and, well, not first of all pro-union laws, like making it harder to union bust and to have more representation on the National Labor Relations Board from pro-union people, increasing the abilities for people to go after employers who break labor laws. Actually, like people who are from unions calling Biden the most pro-union president in living memory. Like that's, I don't know, I like, or at least the last few decades. But apparently there's no sign of any shift left. I guess it's because like again, all this is like, I feel like a lot of what you get here is like vibe politics. It's just like little paragraphs that sound kind of loose and maybe sounds nice to listen to, like theory crafting, all that. But again, at the end of the day, like there's not really any engagement with the actual policies that have taken place on the ground. But yeah, fuck.
A reasonable way to look at things. That said, these two demonstrably true statements of non-committal that I just gave will be enough to get certain people very mad in the comment section at me. It's just the nature of online political discourse, especially right now, as so many of us are far too invested in what voting means here in the States. It is a dumpster fire right now. To be specific, I'm speaking to the real significant animosity toward black liberals who have gotten energized by the sudden emergence of Kamala Harris and the corresponding criticism from white leftists and now folks from the Middle East who see this as a portrayal of various causes. And the CIA and just counterintelligence, counterinsurgents forces, they have got us cooked right now. We are down bad. So I want to be clear, while I tend to agree with the overt leftists in this conversation, it's also very true that you're not about to talk to black folks any type of way online and think that that's going to go over well. I've noticed how many black folks my age and younger have gotten charged up for Kamala Harris. It's starting to remind me of Obama in 2008, which is wild because this is not how we were feeling about Kamala in 2020, or to be honest, the last 4 years. The fact that she's been able to suddenly emerge as this superstar for the Democratic Party and admittedly has been running an effective campaign, it is mind blowing. It's kind of scary because Kamala Harris was the first person to quit the campaign in 2020. But somehow she's effectively running the exact same playbook that Obama did in 08 and is working as if we don't know what Obama was by 2016. And this is not good.
Why would you throw a drone? But again, another one of Biden's achievements was effectively ending the drone war. If you look at the amount of like drone strikes used by the United States from Obama, then Trump, and then poof, like it just absolutely fucking plummeted under Biden. Obviously, Biden can't really take public credit for that because he's basically taking credit for ending something that escalated massively when he was vice president, but he still did it. Like, yeah, I can sing his praises for that. So
good for a lot of reasons that I don't want to get into on the B-Sides video. But the reality is the not goodness of it is going to be very hard to explain to liberals and black liberals alike, period. Especially, and let's be honest, if you are not having real conversations with black people and have not been doing that at any point in time up until this point. As a person who was a hardcore Obama fan in 2008, I can tell you there was nothing you could have told me in that moment that would have changed my mind about Obama at that time. At best, you'd have been ignored. At worst, you'd have been cursed out, which is, I think, what's happening to a lot of white leftists online. But beyond the white leftists, who I'll get back to in a second, this is also happening between black folks, black liberals in America, along with some black folks in places like the Congo and Middle Eastern folks in Palestine, Lebanon, that have been perpetual but invisible victims of American imperialism for generations. Places that Obama himself bombed and drone struck relentlessly while he was president. From a purely political...
The Obama drone strikes on Lebanon. Yes. Okay. I feel like we're going to talk about Lebanon. You're going to talk about Iranian imperialism as well. You know, that kind of fucks with that country a little bit. Obama bombed Palestine and Congo. I mean, there might have been American strikes in were there Congo? Were they going after Coney? I thought the drone strikes from under Obama's presidency would have been Afghanistan, Somalia, Yemen? Pakistan? Taliban wankers hiding out? Syria? Yeah. But no, not the countries he mentioned. I don't think there have been American drones falling in Palestine under Obama. Like, unless you count American drones that are sold to Israel. Okay. It's funny that he's talking about white people talking to ethnic minorities about stuff, and he's just like gone and named 2 countries that had fuck all to do with the drone war. Bro, listen, if you can tell white people to stop talking about black people, I can tell this American to stop talking about the Middle East, because that was a poor example, bro. Come on.
Standpoint, I stand with the victims of American imperialism and have no real allegiance to America's behavior overseas. And although I completely recognize that a Trump presidency will be worse for everyone, I also completely understand the fear and frustration that some folks outside of the U.S. have at seeing us start Stan accounts for a presidential candidate who we can rest assured will only continue the American imperialistic agenda. Obviously. And much like Obama, will be able to hide these atrocities behind black excellence and black success and black faces in high places and a lot of things that will get Black liberals charged up to
the reverse DEI. Let's go.
Defend when it's really indefensible. When you're hearing some of these folks in the Middle East talk about how black people have a role in colonization, they're not wrong. That's what they're talking about. But from the perspective of a lot of black folks, liberal and otherwise, this really feels out of pocket and extra aggressive.
Wow. The intersectional analysis of black Americans doing imperialism to Arabs who used to own black slaves. Oh no. Are you full Lebanese? No, I'm half Lebanese. Could you not tell? Could you not tell that there might have been something else going on in my ethnicity? I did inherit the mostly Lebanese genes, I guess, physically. Sorry, Talkway. Lebanese Civil War. Someone recommended Pity the Nation. I don't know. Fuck have I read about the Lebanese Civil War? I do oral history on the Lebanese Civil War. Okay, I just have to ask. Okay, I just have to inquire into my phalangist bloodline. That's all I do. I think Pay the Nation's a good book. Yes, so I've heard.
Which it has been. Because on the flip side, it's always us and our image that is constantly evoked and used to push left-leaning agendas of all sorts, both here in America, but worldwide. And most times this can look amazing. It looks like these global moments of solidarity where we can rejoice in the fact that other people in the world are standing with us. But another time,
I love it that a British jury watched this exhibit and they were just like, yeah. I don't see any crime. Where's the crime?
Sometimes it looks like white girls painting themselves black.
Vandalism? What? Vandalism? Where? Can't see it. Where? No, in this frame, all I see is a splash in the water. That was Bristol. Yeah, Edward Colston. Yeah.
For poorly thought out art pieces. History has taught black people in America from any political standpoint that at the end of the day, we will probably be on our own and cannot count on anyone but each other.
That was the slaver. Yep. He was a big, big slaver. Yep. And I think there had been, non-violent, there had been non-vandalism based campaigns to try and get the statue removed, but people just wouldn't listen. So honestly, don't give a shit. Right.
And even then, I mean, if you look at like the Black Lives Matter organization and what that did, you can't even count on black folks sometimes. And that's really frustrating because it's a reminder of how virulent and ever-present anti-blackness is and how it comes out so quickly and reflexively. As soon as any given person that considers himself an ally has a problem with something a black person said or did, the anti-blackness is just like, it's like Tourette syndrome. Like it just comes right out. And it makes you feel like none of these people are actually allies, even when they are acting in an allyship role, because why is that so easy for you to fall back into? Coming back to the CIA role in this, why are black folks getting the attention for the newfound support for Kamala Harris? We are not the driving force behind.
What does the CIA have to do with it? I don't think he's really illustrated that, is he? Is there something I missed? What's the CIA doing with regards to black people supporting Kamala Harris right now? What? Did I miss something? What's he accusing the CIA of doing? What do they do? Oh, okay. Maybe he'll get into
politics. We are 13% of the population, maybe 5% of the electorate. Like the fact that black people and Congolese people and Palestinian people are fighting.
Take the Palestine flag out of your name if you're voting Kamala. Oh no. Yes, let Trump get in. Let's annex all of Jerusalem. Let's go.
Each other online right now is the most ass backwards and heartbreaking thing I've seen online in a while. And it shows the flaws in the medium of social media as a tool for seeking liberation or even just educating on certain topics. But it's not just the medium, like it's us, it's y'all. Like the way y'all act and think when it comes to these platforms, it don't work. It's not working. And something needs to change. I've said in so many videos.
Oh, did the CIA, are they the ones who got accused of being the reason that Arabs and black people are fighting online? Is that what he's referring to? Is he calling it a CIA op? What even happened there? I hope it's not. I hope it's not far left Black Americans. Who just didn't realize that Arabs were racist. Like, the Arabs can be quite racist. What? I don't know. I don't know what happened, so. It was a Palestinian creator who started shitting on black people, quite a popular one. So not the CIA, but someone saying in chat that there might have been Russian bots contributing to it once it happened. Wait, where's the evidence that the CIA was involved? Did I know about this? Who was the popular creator? If it was a popular creator, then obviously it's not the CIA, unless we're thinking that they paid them or some shit. Like, okay.
That these platforms are designed explicitly to.
Hey, what happened here? What?
Hello. Okay, so first things first, it's like TikTok creators fucking beefing with each other, and some people start claiming that the opposition, aka the Zionist agenda, is contributing to it and fanning the flame because they love seeing oppressed people fight with each other.
Right.
And the popular creator is like called Maya something. Fuck, she's pretty bad.
I remember,
propaganda.
I remember seeing like a TikTok video, but I don't even think I clicked on it. I just saw some bullshit.
I didn't
care about that.
Yeah, I didn't watch any like real, because there's two sides. There's no real fucking person who's analyzing what happened and being fair. It's like, oh my god, if you side with Palestinians now, you side with this creator and you hate black people and you're what's it called, a race traitor. And there's the other side that's saying, what's it called, liberation doesn't see race or whatever the fuck, and like ignoring what this Palestinian creator did.
Wait, so the origin of it came from a Palestinian creator? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, she was on a TikTok live with a black creator who's much less popular than her, and I think that she let slip about something about black people, and this creator's quite clearly racist. She's not someone who gives a shit about black people.
Right, so I need to find the ground zero of this spat.
You're gonna have to look at the TikToks then.
I just need to know where it started. That's it.
I need to hold on. I need to find the name of the creator again. She's Maya something.
Maya.
Yeah.
Maya.
Yeah. Palestinian. Hold on, let me see. Maya Ayuni, that's her name.
Maya Ayuni.
Yeah,
she's on a TikTok. She's having a conversation with a black person.
Yeah, on a TikTok live.
Oh, the controversy explained. Okay.
If you see a video from her, it's not really explained.
Let's see. This is a different creator talking about it. Okay, let's see what happened here. Okay, let's see.
I'll also mute and listen to this explanation.
Maya.
Oh no, that's just her talking about the N-word.
Not the Maya trying to talk about.
No, where's the original? I want the original. I want something. I imagine there was an incident that went fucking viral, and that's where it started, right? That must be where.
Hold on. The clip that you just watched is a clip they dug up from her past to showcase that she's always been racist. The controversy started with something like on a live that was like recent, where I don't remember exactly what she said, but she said something that triggered like a lot of black people and also triggered like other Palestinians too. It's like, why the fuck would you say this shit? I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it pissed off a lot of people because I don't watch these creators. I told you, these people, they live in the West. A bunch of these fucking dumbass Palestinians on TikTok live in the West. They don't have any idea what's going on. They just post every bad thing Israel does.
Apparently, fucking Hassan commented on it. Does he have the clip? I wonder. Come on, Hassan.
So,
why did Hassan comment on this?
I don't know. Okay, I have no idea. Okay, maybe it's on Twitter. Like, there must be an original clip that blew up. That's always how these things start, right? Like, so let's see.
Let me see. I'll try and find the clip for you too. Why are you interested in this? It's so dumb.
I just want to know what the fuck he's talking about because he's saying it was the CIA. But if it turns out that the origins of this bullshit came from a popular, established Palestinian creator, that's just really funny that FD Signifier would try to write off Arab racism as a fucking as a CIA operate. Yeah, fuck. That's just really funny to me if that's real.
I found a video with the TikTok live.
Okay.
But it's not clips of what happened in the TikTok live. It's like the entire TikTok.
It's the entire
live.
TikTok. So there's a segment of that where which I guess she said something that got people riled up.
I'm guessing, yeah, probably. I don't know which one's the segment. I'll link you the entire TikTok live. It's a YouTube video. But this person uploaded it. There's a clip from Maya at the beginning of it. Then there's the TikTok live, and then there's a clip of Maya at the end of it.
Okay.
And I think this is basically the beginning of her live. No, it's a clip of her, and then at the end, it's just her talking to her viewers without the black.
Maya Ioni going off on black people. Maya Ioni, black people are colonizers. Okay.
Oh, okay. Now I'm starting to recall. I think she said a comment about if there's black Americans who go over to fight America's wars in the Middle East, they're colonizers.
Okay, it's not even a very uncommon take, is it? Let's see.
Yeah, but why would you say that to her, to a TikToker who's never supported that? Who's just black?
Probably because of racism. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Let's
that's
see.
probably why she got flamed
Wait.
for it.
What the fuck is this? Is this? I don't even wait.
This
Which?
is my impression of what happens every single time I tell someone I go
sent
to
it in
community
the
college.
side channel of this chat.
Which one is? I don't even. Fuck. All right, let's see. Stream suggestions. New
What's
race
not-
war.
Are you
Just
in
dropped.
Okay, I want to keep this
Oh, yeah,
quick
I
because
wait,
this is
fuck,
one of
hey.
those things where
Alright, so
I could
Vosh
talk about
covered
it for 4
it. Okay,
hours, but only by
beautiful.
repeating myself over and over.
Here's the
He's
video
calling it
I
a
was
psyop. Okay, okay.
This is the video I found. The other TikTok is called Tori Greer.
Okay, okay.
You know what? At this point, I will happily
Right.
take it out of my bio.
FYI,
Because if that's really
if
how y'all feel,
this
as
started on
if Donald
TikTok, they're all
Trump gives a
stupid,
damn
just
about
so you know.
Palestine,
Oh, this person. Okay.
fine. I will take it out of my bio.
Anyway,
I will
you
never
found the
speak
clips.
about it
Can I
ever
go now?
again.
Yeah, but so somewhere in here is where the fucking tension blew up.
Yeah, that's if you hover over. I didn't watch the entire thing. I'm just hovering over the video and seeing that it is.
Okay,
the
okay,
TikTok
okay.
live.
We'll just watch it and see what happened. Okay, that's it. Okay, cool.
Alright,
Thank you.
yeah.
All right, bye bye.
Trust me, I will never speak about it again.
Earlier today, I saw a video on my For You page of a woman of color responding to a comment from someone saying, if you're going to vote for Kamala Harris, take the Palestinian flag out of your bio, because the woman was supporting Palestine and had the Palestinian flag in her bio. And her response was, okay, I'm never going to support Palestine again. And I was reading the comments and I was like, there's other countries struggling in the world. Not everything's about Palestine. If you can't listen to Palestinians telling you that Kamala Harris funded and supported our genocide, therefore we are not voting for her, therefore we are not going to support her publicly. If you could hear us say that and your reaction is...
She funded and supports. Yeah, Kamala funds and supports genocide. That's why we should. That's why we really want to, start liaising with them and hanging out with them at the DNC. Fuck off.
Well, I don't care about Palestine. I'm never going to talk about it again. I'm never going to support you guys again. You're a really bad person and you never actually care about Palestine. People treat politics like it's just like a trend. Like it's really cute to be like, I love Biden, I hate Biden, I hate Kamala, I love Palestine, I hate Palestine. Palestine isn't a trend because thousands of Palestinians are dying every day while you sit on your phone and decide whether or not you're going to support Palestine today. I am glad that girl took Palestine out of her bio because she was obviously never a Palestine supporter. And if you can be that easily convinced that the people in Palestine don't deserve your support because someone told you that you're wrong for voting for the person who funded their genocide, then you really never cared. And it's really horrible.
Mm-hmm.
You can have your opinions on Kamala. I'm not here to tell anyone who to vote for or who not to vote for. I'm also very much not a Trump supporter. I would never vote for Trump. I don't want him to win. He also hates Palestine. But if that's all it took for you to publicly revoke your support of the nation where babies are dying, where they have the highest number of amputee children in the world, you never cared in the first place and you just saw this as a fun trend to do while you were waiting for the next big thing. That is Kamala Harris. Used as me. And her response was, okay, I'm never going to support Palestine again.
Well, hello, it's the person of color that you saw on your page that you came over here to lie about. Because I didn't say, okay, I'm never going to support them again. I said, I'm never going to say anything about it again. That's what I said. Which doesn't mean I withdraw my support. Which means that I'm not vocally going to be on here and be harassed by people when I say that I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris. I am going to vote for her. And if they're saying I can't vote for her and support Palestine by having the flag in my bio, then I would take it down. But I like how you want to take that over there to your 2.1 million people and just lie. But of course you didn't say who it was, but you're still a liar. You're a liar.
Oh, shit. Okay.
You want to know what's even more interesting? Is that wasn't originally in her caption. Originally, it said, and her tone in the video was insane. But now her updated caption says, please don't send her hate. This is a bigger issue than her video. Now you don't care about the harm that you could cause towards me because you know it's an easy video for people to find. And just because you put the disclaimer, don't send her hate after you basically said that my tone was too much, tone policing me. But now,
Is this
now
the October 7th of leftist TikTok? Yeah, apparently the CIA made this happen.
Caption says something different, as if they aren't already on their way over here, as if they aren't in her comment section dogpiling on me and talking crap about me. But don't send any hate. She's full of crap. And I really can't even stand the disingenuousness. And then she said this is a bigger issue than her. Then why did you bring me up in it? Why did you bring me up in it? You needed a perfect example of why you're so upset with the black community.
To be fair, Laura, it's, I wouldn't say CIA, but I have seen like people who are like on the opposition of like pro-Palestine, for example, that are like fanning the flames, like now constantly posting about the Arab slave trade, constantly mentioning what Arabs didn't do for black people. Like they're trying to like continue this division.
Yeah, obviously, if you're if you're a racist or like a pro-Israel right winger, you love this shit. This is because it's funny as fuck to you. Yeah,
I when I scroll through TikTok when I'm about to go to bed, I see TikTok lives is like, why do Palestinians hate black people? Just like as a caption on the live, and it's like some Israeli Jew who's like blonde and blue-eyed, like.
Yeah,
well. So yeah, I don't think it's CIA. I do think it's Mossad though. Goodbye.
Wow.
And then to be able to say Mamala, so that she could be able to come on here and be anti-black as fuck. That's the only thing she wanted to do. But now she's trying to cover her tracks. I already got the screenshot from her basically tone policing me, talking about the tone in the video. Please don't tag that hussy on my account. I would really appreciate it if y'all didn't. She's already made a video about me. If she needed to see anything else, I'm pretty sure she could find it on her own.
Whoa. Response. She's gonna
But
respond.
you're a woman enough to make that video. You're turning to your friends in here to help you speak, don't you? Did she help you make that video yesterday?
No.
Did she help you? Oh, she didn't give you a stamp of approval? Maybe she would let you know that you did it incorrectly. So did I say those words, yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
I'm not going to speak to you if you're going to speak.
No, I don't have to be respectful for you when you took me to your 2.1 million followers and then you want to come on here
Oh
and
my
say,
god, they're debating. Oh my god. I thought TikTokers and like far leftists didn't like debates. These guys are fucking on it. Nice.
Speak to you?
You don't have to. Okay. Well, you want to tone police me yet again.
Answer the question.
If you actually want to have a conversation,
because you don't like being called out, right? It doesn't feel good when you're being called out.
Can you just
you relax? You relax. Don't tell me to relax.
It's like, how are we gonna? Please, I just want to talk.
I don't care. Because the way you did it was wrong. You should always run everything you post by your friends, since you need to run every word that comes out of your mouth, Pastor, like you are right now. And I don't care about you being frustrated and feeling like you're being attacked. What about me? You don't care about that because you're only centering your cause and what the hell you want. But you don't want to talk to me because you don't have that passion.
I do want to talk to you.
Back it up.
Does this feel like we're talking?
Answer the question. Did I say that I will never support Palestine again?
Did you say?
I asked you.
Did you say you're going to take it out of your bio and never
Didn't they ask me to take it out of? Didn't they ask me to take it out of my bio?
And then you know what people ask me every day?
No. Oh, please stop it.
You know
when you made your video, I don't care. Listen to what I'm saying. When you made your video, you said, "I'm glad that girl took the Palestine flag out of her bio." Please let me say what I'm saying. You literally said, "I'm glad she took it out because you're not going to listen to Palestinian people when they're telling you that we do not want to vote for Kamala Harris because she is funding our genocide." Please let me finish what I'm saying. Please stop trying to cut me off. You brought me up here to talk about your video.
Yes,
so let's talk about your video. You brought me up here to talk about your video. So I want to talk about your video. No, you want to drive the conversation.
His energy is very mismatched here. Oh no. Who's winning? I don't know.
Better. You want to drive the conversation to make yourself feel better.
I'm not here
care. Because why are you on here talking about it? Because you care.
Oh God, I just want to say one thing. I'm just going to say one thing and then I'll unmute you. I'm going to say one thing and I'm going to unmute you. I'm going to let you finish. I said in my video and my follow video, those were not Palestinian people telling you to take Palestine out of your bio. Those were not Palestinian people. We are Palestinian people and we would never tell you that. Palestinian people are literally begging anyone to support them. Anyone to support them. I get insane comments all the time telling me not to support gay rights, telling me not to support black rights. There are very racist people. There are people co-opting every single movement we have, telling us not to support each other. Palestinian people did not ask you to do that. I'm going to unmute you now, but I had to say that because you were saying something that wasn't true. And that was that Palestinian people were telling you to take that out of your bio because that's not true. And actually, one more thing. I said I was glad that you took it out of your bio because it seemed like you didn't care about Palestine when you said you would never ever speak about it again. Like the Palestinian people are massively being massacred and it hurt me as a Palestinian.
You should have sat with those feelings instead of coming on here and projecting it onto me. That's a whole thing about understanding why you feel what you feel before you come on here and bring a video to your 2.1.
I knew how I felt.
Yes, and you were wrong.
About
you
what?
Know how you felt. And even earlier in this live, you said, I feel like they're still the same thing. You're still not willing to say that you were wrong.
Okay, what do you think I was wrong about?
If you would have let me finish talking earlier before you cut me off and wanted to have your grandstand, I would have said it when I was talking about your actual video.
Okay, you can keep going now.
Anyway, so in your video, you went on to say that we're saying if you vote for Kamala because that's supporting supports our genocide, and y'all are basically coming over and not giving us any alternatives because even you said that you understand that point of view. What is it?
I've given alternatives.
What is the alternative?
I've said if you want to vote for Kamala, I would appreciate if you guys continued your advocacy for Palestine.
Well, why would we not do that? Why would we not do that? Why are you centering yourself when we're talking about Kamala Harris because you only focus on Palestine?
Because
You've had tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Please stop.
Kamala Harris took millions of dollars from the Israeli lobby.
Okay, and what other politicians have done it? Isn't Donald Trump setting up the United States Embassy?
Trump is worse for Palestine.
Okay, then what is the outcome that you are expecting when you are telling people that Kamala Harris isn't a good
Trump
option?
What's the viable option?
Y'all aren't giving us any alternatives. Y'all are just coming on here throwing dirt on Kamala Harris.
I did give alternatives.
What is it?
To pressure Kamala with your vote by saying, I will vote for you if you make a better policy on Palestine.
And then what will happen if we don't vote for her? If
but
she
I
doesn't follow through,
not to vote for her.
But the thing is, then that means we are actually standing on business. We're telling her we're not going to vote for her when we are saying that she needs to change her policy.
That's not the
thing is, why wasn't anybody pushing this when we thought Biden was running for office? Why didn't anybody do that before?
We were. I was making 20 videos about Biden.
And guess what? She just came up for the candidacy. And then as far as finding another option beyond Biden, beyond Kamala,
I made videos with
what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing to make a change besides saying put pressure on her? Okay. I've not working. The election is 3 months away. What do y'all want us to do as Black Americans when y'all are coming into our comment section and you're saying it's not Palestinians?
What I think
vote.
we need to not do is say we, because I never told you not to vote for Kamala Harris. I told you if you want to
vote that I should understand why they wouldn't want to vote for her. Which is the same as telling us not to vote for her.
I think you should understand why some people don't want to vote for her.
I understand that, but guess what? Y'all don't get to take y'all reasons for not voting for her.
Is this the rest of the fucking video? They just go off like this for? Where's the racism?
But then again, who is y'all? Like, who is y'all? Because I think you're saying y'all.
You literally said Palestinians. You said you weren't speaking just for yourself. You were not speaking just for yourself. So that's why I'm saying y'all. Why don't you understand that?
What the fuck, man? Okay.
That's why I'm saying y'all. You're so hung up on the word y'all. You sound just like racist white people. When I say y'all.
Shit! Hear it? Oh, it's over some trivial bullshit. Okay, nice.
Exactly what the fuck I just said.
What, dude?
Dude, I'm not racist. Please be quiet.
I feel like this. This is like getting to a place that it was never supposed to get to.
Because you should have never brought me up. You probably thought it would be sweet because I was a small content creator and you have 2.1 million followers.
I warned you before you watch this that this is gonna be stupid as fuck because it's on TikTok.
Yeah. That's exactly what I wanted to see.
Okay, I'm just telling you, it's gonna be stupid as fuck. Okay. Anyway,
dude.
The only reason I came over here is because somebody let me know that you were talking about me. I don't follow you. I don't.
I know you don't.
I never saw your face before I saw it yesterday.
That's not a diss to me.
I don't care. I'm not trying to diss you. I'm letting you know.
You called me
I did not know you existed. Yeah, I did.
Damn.
I stand on that. You bug-eyed hussy.
Whow.
What? You think I'm gonna take it back? I meant it when I said it.
Listen,
I meant it when I said it. I meant it when I said it.
You're asking me what alternatives I've given you.
Yes, go ahead.
You're asking me what alternatives.
Go ahead, tell me the alternatives besides y'all coming into our comment sections and telling us that Kamala Harris supports your genocide. Go ahead, I'll be quiet.
Thank you. One.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, letting me speak in this.
Jesus Christ.
One, I never told you not to.
Who is this old cat's fucking
Saying
dog?
y'all is not fair because I made so many videos about voting for Kamala. Two, I have interviewed a lot of third-party candidates. At this point, third-party candidates are no longer an option, in my opinion, right now. In a swing state, I don't think a third-party candidate is going to make sense right now.
Crazy.
So I'm like, okay, after I interviewed a third-party candidate on here 4 hours, advocated for someone who is pro-Palestine, who is pro-Black, obviously. After I realized that's no longer an option, I was like, okay, let's find another solution. Agree that Kamala is not the perfect candidate. Like, I think
she's not perfect, but we're not looking for perfection. And you even said that Donald Trump hates.
And I agree.
Why is everybody trying to scrutinize the only other viable candidate we have? You literally just said third party is not viable.
Yeah,
so why are we over here dividing and saying we're not going to vote for Kamala because of X, Y, and Z? As if that doesn't mean the genocide in Palestine will continue to happen regardless of who's in office. Before Kamala and Biden were in office, weren't Palestinian people dying?
Yes.
Yes. So that means that it's not limited to this administration because Israel is literally an ally of the America. They are an ally. So that's going to continue to happen. So what did Kamala do that she's open to this much scrutiny over the other presidential candidates?
Do you know who Netanyahu is?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Kamala shook Netanyahu's hand in the White House.
Damn.
Kamala went on stage and called the pro-Palestinian protesters terrorists. Kamala Kamala accepted millions of dollars.
Did she call them terrorists? I thought she said, I'm speaking, and then addressed them and said, we have a ceasefire. When did she call them terrorists? Wait, what? I don't think I ever saw that one. I think she called Hamas a terrorist organization. I think that's what she said. That's slightly manipulative. Okay. There's no way she called pro-Palestinian protesters terrorists. I don't believe it. You would have absolutely seen that. Okay. Okay.
From the pro-Israel lobby. Kamala and her husband went on a press conference on October 12th and said they will support Israel through anything they needed.
Because America will, regardless of whether or not Kamala is in office. Because America is what
I think
America is very Zionist at heart, and you know that. So for you to come on here and try to set fire to her feet in order to kind of like divide the vote.
I don't think it's fair to say that I was setting fire to her feet. I don't think it was fair to say I was setting fire to her feet. When I said Palestinians are not going to vote for her because she has done things to the Palestinian community that is not okay. I've said, I literally have videos on my page of me saying vote for Kamala, but it's not okay to say you're going to vote for Kamala and then just absolutely drop the political opinions on Palestine. Like, it's like not okay to be like blindly advocating for Kamala, which I don't think you are doing because
nobody is blindly advocated for Kamala.
Yeah, which I said, but there's a lot of people that used to be pro-Palestine, that used to be really verbally pro-Palestine, that have dropped their support of Palestine for just to support Kamala and to because
I don't believe that they are dropping their support.
That's you guys.
It really feels like that.
Okay, but the thing is, what is happening right now here? Because you're tunnel vision on Palestine, but we have to also think about the country that we live in. Where do you live? You live in America?
I do live in America. Yes.
Okay, so we have an election that's coming up soon. Don't we have to prioritize that so that we can continue to support Palestine?
Prioritizing for sure, but I also think like when people are criticizing Kamala's, I think when people are criticizing Kamala's policy in the Middle East and then other Democrats are telling y'all not to talk about it, like that is not helpful for this conversation.
Who's telling you not to speak about it? But the thing is, it's a difference when y'all are well, I'm not one of them. So it seems like you took your frustration on what you're seeing with other people out on me based off of what you saw in my video. That's what it sounds like.
Well, in your video, I did feel very hurt.
And why didn't you sit with those feelings a little bit longer?
Because you
fully understand.
You made a video. Why didn't you sit with the feelings about what I said in my video?
For your information, learn about 6 bodies were returned from Gaza. Oh, is this because of the polio ceasefire? Or is that what hang on. One of the parents spoke at the DNC. Oh, retrieved. No, not, so Hamas didn't return them, did they? 6 hostages' bodies retrieved. This is 20th of August. This is ages ago. It's a whole 11 days. 5 of their deaths had already been announced. A British-Israeli Nadav Popplewell. Oh, from Khan Yunis. This is from the IDF, though. This wasn't given by Hamas. They just found him. Okay.
What, the video that you made after not sitting
a few hours ago. Wait, what? Why is this... Is this old? Hang on. This is a new story. Where? I don't see a report from this in the Hebrew media. I think this is an old story. Okay.
With yours? I'm talking about the very first video I made that you said hurt your feelings. Is that the video you're talking about? Or you're talking about the ones that followed? I'm trying to figure out what chronological order.
It doesn't really hurt my feelings because we kind of look the same eye-wise.
Yeah, and I know I have big eyes, and I didn't bring up your bug eyes. Somebody else said he had big.
Oh God, ouch.
Guys, I just called you a hussy. I never said anything about
you like
your
the
eyes.
big eye comment.
I just like it because I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious.
If I like the comment calling you a bug-eyed hussy, that
I don't care. I really don't care. I really don't care. I don't. You care. I don't.
Listen, your comment saying I'll never speak about Palestine again was upsetting, and honestly, it was upsetting. And honestly, there are a lot of people who share the sentiment that they're no longer going to talk about Palestine because the criticism of Kamala. I made my
about the criticism of Kamala. It's the criticism of y'all criticizing us for voting for her.
Well, who is y'all? That's what I'm saying. It's not Palestinian.
People. Yes. Oh, and the people that were in your comments. You want to distance yourself from the shit show that you helped to create. But
when I said stop giving her hate and when I took down the video.
Oh, you at first you didn't even say stop giving her hate because your comment first only said anything about my tone. First you went over there and you was like, and she said, and then you said I'm not a good person and that I disgust you.
I said you disgust me.
Yes, you said I disgusted you.
I told you what I said. I didn't say you're a monster. I said you disgust me.
You said something about me not being a good person. You did question my character based off of one video that you saw, based off of your.
What the fuck? Okay, wait. Sorry, chat. Okay, we need to do some policing in chat. Holy fuck, man. What? Where do you retards come from? Hang on. What the fuck? Matthew 4s take a very long break. Okay, comment later. Do you know who the person on the left is reminding me of, the way she talks? Can anyone guess? Can anyone guess the vibe that I get from the person on the left? She's been on stream once or twice. No, not Mike from PA. What the fuck? She's been on stream a long time ago. Why does no one get it? I've never spoken to Merc off the perk, so no. Play more of her? The way she's engaging.
Your hurt feelings.
But because you said you would never ever speak on Palestine again.
Okay. And what does that mean? That I deserve to be bullied? That I deserve to be dogpiled? It's not. If I decided today,
she's not black enough to be Destiny. Okay.
But did you not do the same thing to me?
If I today, and you have 2.1 million followers. It's not the same.
Okay. And you went on your public platform and said that you would never support Palestine again.
You're trying to make it seem like you're so innocent. Why is no one getting it?
The way she's engaging in a very specific way with someone that I've spoken to in the past. Does no one get it? Okay.
It's not the same.
I don't think I'm innocent. The only thing that I apologize for is I don't think my video was a productive piece of the conversation, which is why I took it down. But again, I don't think what I said was inherently racist, and I think that's a messed up comment to say about me. Because I didn't make the video. Because you were like in comments calling me anti-black.
Anti-black doesn't mean racist.
Hey, someone got it. It's Lav. Yeah, she's engaging like Lav. Yeah, she's got Lav vibes. Okay. Wait, now I can't tell. I thought this Maya person was like a racist. Okay, but maybe she has said racist things. So far, anti-black doesn't. Okay.
Calling me anti-black.
Anti-black doesn't mean racist. When they wanted to call you racist, they could have called you black. That means that you have a bias against darker people, against black people. It doesn't mean that you
But do you think I made that video because I'm biased against you for being black? I would have rather have made it.
You didn't even mention I was black. You just said a woman of color.
I thought black people were okay with being called women of people of color.
No, we're not. We're black.
Well, someone said that in my comments, and then I said, okay, I agree. Like, I won't say that again.
Okay.
I would have loved.
Is that true? Do the African Americans not like being called people of color? I thought that umbrella category was fine. Generally, you would just say black if they're black, because POC is more like brown. But okay. Huh. Interesting.
Video came from a white creator. I was more hurt that it came from a black person.
And do you understand why a black woman would have responded like that when we're over here trying to fight for our rights and having someone come into my comments and say, "Oh, if you have that flag in your bio," then I have a bunch of other people coming to my comments.
But I just feel like that's an unfair criticism of what's happening right now because, like I said so many times, that outside noise is not directly from Palestinians.
Then why did you open up with that in your video?
Because I didn't think
you couldn't wait to make me out to be a villain. You couldn't even put yourself in my shoes. What?
I have a question for you.
The way you spoke about
I have a question for you. Can I ask you a genuine question? If I made a video, if someone was hurt, okay, when I was, I just made my Sonya Massey video, or no, a better example. I made a George Floyd video saying that white Americans will still try to like claim things on his name that weren't true to justify his murder. Okay? Of course, White Lives Matter people are not dead. All Lives Matter people are not dead. I got thousands of comments from them being like, saying heinous shit. And I also get comments from all types of people saying heinous shit. Okay? Imagine if I duetted one of those,
Okay, I need to go to the bathroom. Someone tell me if I missed the racism, okay? I'm just saying, if the CIA orchestrated this, what the fuck? If any operative was orchestrating this kind of shit, right? She would have just said the N-word in 5 seconds, and that would be it. Okay, I don't know. Fuck. All right, let's. She's doing a bit of a I have black friends thing now, so that's close enough. Okay.
One of those videos, and I said, fine. And that was clearly not from a black person. And I said, and I'll say, fine. I'll just never speak on black rights ever again. Like, can you see how that would be a hurtful sentiment?
You think that that doesn't happen all the time to black people?
But from me, I'm saying from me.
I literally probably wouldn't care because I see it all the time. You personally felt bad about it, and you felt like you needed to make a video about it, which is fine.
But you felt bad about it, and you felt like you needed a video to make a video.
And I did. But guess what? It's fine. If you would have at least been honest in your video, no, I don't mind that you made a video. It happens all the time. That's a part of TikTok.
It would be a hurtful sentiment, though. You're saying it wouldn't be a hurtful sentiment?
Okay, if it hurt me, guess what? I wouldn't lie because I could easily still be hurt with the actual person's words.
But I wasn't trying to lie.
Yes, you literally were. You twisted my words. You twisted them, and then you.
What do you consider support? Okay, what do you consider supporting Palestine except for?
Do you think only putting a flag in my bio is
no? You said
supporting
you would
Palestine?
never ever speak on it again.
I don't have to speak about it. I can repost other people's videos.
What else? What can you do? What can you do then? You can repost it. You said you would never ever speak on it again.
Okay, and I'm not.
Okay, so how else could you support Palestine if you never ever speak on it again?
Like how I have with my money and sharing and actually supporting the people that are.
Palestinians are telling y'all the borders are closed. The border is closed. Palestinians are telling y'all the border is not open. You give me money, okay, it's still helpful. The border is closed.
Yeah, and when did the border close?
Like a month ago.
Okay, and
what they're asking you is all we want. We don't right now. All we want is public support. The border is closed. We don't have a lot to do right now. Yes, absolutely donate. But we need people to talk about us and not forget about us. And you said I will never ever speak about it again when they are begging y'all. Palestinians that just lost their kids are begging y'all to still publicly support Palestine. Like, I'm not here to argue with you.
And that's what you should have said in your video. That's what you could, like.
That was my whole point.
No, it literally wasn't. Because in your video, you could have said, okay, no, because honestly, when you made that video, what were your intentions? I want to know exactly what your intentions were behind it.
My intention was to make a point that if you can give up your support for Palestine over one person, or not one person, because I think a lot of people were being rude. If you can give up your support to Palestine because a bunch of liberals that are co-opting the movement are being rude to you, then you didn't really care in the first place.
Okay, and in your video, why didn't you have a constructive conversation versus being like, you never was a real advocate? Because that's definitely not going to get what you were looking for.
Like a lot of videos you've made, I was upset. You've made a lot. You say I needed to sound my feelings. You make a lot of videos just to say.
I do.
No
construction. I do make a lot of videos. No, construction. Why would I need to be constructive? You're saying that the reason.
What are they? Have they said anything interesting? Has there been any racism? Has there been any proper racism? I thought we were going to get some on the nose shit. Oh well, you know, maybe it exists in that video, but I just don't know how. I just don't know if it's worth the wait. What's this? What did I get? Oh, some new black jeans. Okay, that's not very interesting. Okay. I did need them, but that's not like a new thing for me. What else do we got? Oh, new shirts. Shit. H&M. What the fuck? Damn, this shirt looks weird as hell, man. Why did I get this? It looked different online. It's got like this fucking pattern on it. What the fuck? Look at this. Look at this shirt. I don't know if you can tell, but it's got like a really weird, okay. Fuck it. You know, if I don't like it, I don't like it, but okay. Just a standard black shirt. Okay, nice. What's this one? Is this like a linen one? Did I go mad on the linen? This looks very linen. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, getting disguises ready for the United States. True, yeah.
You not about me. I'm saying in general.
No, I'm talking, yeah, in general. Okay, that's exactly what I'm doing. But now I'm going back to you. I'm talking about your video.
Don't care. Okay, apparently that was the... So what's Vosh talking about? Oh, he's found a bunch of TikToks. Okay, let's see. Maybe he found some.
A soy op? A soy op. One.
A soy op.
On Israel to do your
Let's take a look at the videos. You know, why not, right?
to do your due diligence and pressure her into changing her policy on Israel.
Well. I understand you've given some of my sisters a hard way to go in a short time to get there.
So the initial video here, I did see the total video.
You've given some of my sisters a hard way to go in a short time to get there. You know, you repeatedly in that video are telling women of color what to...
Wait! I thought that wasn't okay. It is. It's weird when a black person says it to a Arab person, because Arab people are also people of color. Okay.
Yes. I guess it's just been a while since we've talked about idpol, and I've seen so much where between wrong on this.
Might as well be standing there.
Wrong on Western Sentinel.
You might as well be standing there with a mustache, a beard, balls, you know, the whole white man thing. Because that's what it's giving.
So this is, you know, it's all idpol shit.
Okay. Thanks, Vosh.
Hey! I'll find you links. There have been very real anti-black racism from TikTok creators such as Lean Pistachio Chai and Rosal on TikTok. You're probably much more involved in this than I am if you know the name of specific people on TikTok who are doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anti-black racism doesn't exist. Obviously, I believe it does.
Where are the racist Arabs? Come on. That's all I want.
I do not understand this.
Or if we were on the back, you're asking upholding the system, you're asking us to stop living.
Okay.
Us to stop upholding the system, you're asking us to stop living. So, in other words, you're asking us to...
It's black liberals versus like far left Palestinian. That's okay.
Die for you. Whether it be on the battleground, in a possible civil war, if we were ever to...
Yes, I'm asking you to stop upholding the systems that are killing you and us. I do not understand where the disconnect is.
Both are Mossad psyops trying to fight lol. Yeah, it's like when white supremacist groups in America, like everyone tries to arrest everyone else at the same time because everyone's an informant for the FBI, you know? And you've got like a Mossad-backed, like both sides of the equation.
Shut up!
Different conclusion. I am saying that the system that exists right now is actively killing African Americans. The system that you have right now is actively oppressing every single American.
Dog, I'm not gonna lie, I'm bombarded.
Stop
pushing here. Sure, bring the Discord to get involved.
And every single American is oppressed and still oppressing other people.
She seems to think that voting equals upholding the system, though. Yeah, and that is dumb. But if you respond to that by saying, you know, you're speaking over black women's business by telling us that we need to do anything to support Arab people.
She's in green, which means she's Hamas. Oh, no.
Your decision for...
I don't know how TikTok
Keep Palestinians' names out of your mouth when you're trying to defend your decision for voting for Kamala. I don't give a shit. I'm not here to try to persuade you one way or another. I know what I'm going to be doing come November, but my God, just sit with your cognitive dissonance. Don't try to shove it onto the rest of us, all right? Palestine has nothing to do with it, because if you cared about Palestinians, you would not be sitting here saying that you were going to vote blue no matter who. No, you'd be putting these politicians' feet to the flames. You'd be demanding more. You wouldn't be saying, oh, I'm going to vote and then maybe I'm going to try to organize. You who have never organized a day in your life. Just zip it, all right? Zip it. Us Palestinians, sick of hearing your shit.
That wasn't anywhere near as bad as I expected it to be.
Listen, it's if anything, the TikTok discourse, if anyone's doing a psyop here, is it not China for allowing all these fucking ADHD-riddled, self-fucking inflicted ADHD iPad baby fuckheads to come here with their... Like these arguments are these discussions are so brain damaged. What the fuck? Like, how do you get anywhere in life? How do you advance anything with this kind of discourse? The fuck?
Isn't this anti-electoral? Yeah, but she also says that you should try to, like, I mean, does the people, why the comment to me? You will bend the knee and you will vote for Kamala.
Who's
However,
this person?
I
Is this our?
Will this be anti-black?
Page of a woman of color responding to a comment from someone saying, if you're going to vote for Kamala Harris, take the Palestinian flag out of your bio.
Oh, yeah, that's what we saw, yeah.
Was supporting Palestine and had the Palestinian flag in her bio. And her response was, okay, I'm never going to support Palestine again. And I was reading the comments and I was like, there's other countries struggling in the world. Not everything's about Palestine. If you can't listen to Palestinians telling you that Kamala Harris...
Edgar, thanks for the 15 shekels. As are Israelis people of color, in your opinion, you've been to Israel and seen us. Listen, like, the fact is that they are, but people are not going to have that. People are not going to have that argument ever. No one's going to buy that. Sorry.
Funded and supported our genocide. Therefore, we are not voting for her. Therefore, we are not going to support her publicly. If you could hear us say that and your reaction is, well, I don't care about Palestine. I'm never going to talk about it again. I'm never going to support you guys again. You're a really bad person and you never actually cared about Palestine.
Holy shit.
People treat politics like it's just like a trend. Like it's really cute to...
She's right and wrong. Yeah, she's hovering. She's on the fence post on this one. Obviously, you should vote.
Don't care.
Unless think they get a special progressive global South pass to be racist to Black Americans.
Oh, what's she saying?
Okay, is it actually going to be racist to Black Americans? Who, Pablo? Don't worry about it.
American liberals don't realize that the reason that the rest of the...
What accent is this? And would it be racist of me to make fun of it? Chat, I need the check on that real quick. It's is that British, like mainland British? Because there's a lot of accents that sound British that aren't British. It's just British? Okay.
The world has to give a shit about who comes into power there is because the rest of the world's liberals don't realize that the reason that the rest of the world has to give a shit about who comes into power there is because the rest of the world suffers from America's foreign policy.
That's true.
But Kamala will at least improve domestic policies. She's been vice president for 4 years now. If she wanted to improve policy, she had the political influence to do so.
Yeah, this one's pretty
good. Your country isn't shit because of a Democrat government. Liberals weaponizing anti-blackness to defend the US empire, all because they want a token ethnic president, who, by the way, was an ex-cop, the same people that are brutally murdering
that was kind of racist.
African Americans, is a choice. And let's not sit here and pretend like she cares about you or is going to do shit for ethnic minorities. Kamala is part of the system that you're fighting against. She's a sellout, just like every other token ethnic who gets into any...
that was pretty racist. All right. I've adjusted my position. I'm now racist against Arabs.
True. Based. Okay, so yeah, this is basically like nothing to do with the CIA. This is just people being cringe online. Okay, okay.
Minimize.
Does FT Signifier think that that you would need any external influence for leftists to be that fucking stupid? Like, that's quite funny.
Formed and useful discourse and maximize hot takes and abrasiveness. A lot of good education and communication is possible, but it constantly has to fight for space with the most ridiculous and misguided messages ever. Yeah. The type of nuance and care and insight that this conversation needs, it's not going to happen in a 60-second TikTok video, or even a, hour-long YouTube video is only going to scratch the surface. And don't get me started on fucking Twitter. Like, when I think about the dude, Nacho Supremo, I don't know this dude's name. You know who I'm talking about. That's getting drugged. He was probably the first person of a significant size to get drugged for his response to Kamala Harris.
you're not voting for the cop. You need to vote for the cop because it's the cop's turn to be president.
I imagine that had he not been content brained, that he'd have responded differently up front and then when he was brought to the table to say, hey, this wasn't cool. I think
he's correct here for the most part. I mean, he's correct in saying that like people need to have a more nuanced conversation about whatever the fuck, but like he's not the provider of that. FT Signifier will take an hour to say absolutely nothing, right? Like, it's the aesthetics of a like reasonable person coming in to settle the fucking crowd and tell them to be a bit more mindful, and then somehow taking a half an hour video to say that. Okay.
I think in a situation where people get a chance to have actual conversations that don't have to be consumed through this media.
Also, sorry, but let's not forget that it's the CIA are apparently the ones who are responsible for like fucking Arabs fighting with black people on Twitter about Palestine. Like, okay, really, left-wing infighting. You need an external force for that to happen. That's crazy.
Medium, people tend to come off way better. But when you have to have pithy, like soundbite content that also somehow is supposed to speak to these complex and big brain political ideologies, you have to squeeze and flatten them into, you know, fucking Burger King sandwiches. Like and then we respond to these flattened, you know, commodified, optimized for content consumption, like, share, and subscribe messages around these politics as if it's the real message, as if it's the massive text that the messaging was developed from, or the years-long study and like organizing work and community work that all this stuff really is supposed to lead to. We make it just this, and this doesn't do much of anything except for create the environment for what's happening right now. And because the hot take version of these politics is what it's shared, is what builds platforms, people are incentivized to behave in the most non-productive ways. And we gotta stop. We gotta stop. I really want folks to just step away from the keyboard and go to your own tangible communities, IRL if possible, but online in smaller pockets if necessary, and focus on work and education and communication that can be done there. Because this situation happening right now has PSYOP written all over it. And part of me feels this because unironically, this again all started with white leftists, as these things tend to do. And that's a bugaboo that I've had forever, because it feels like so many white leftists barely know how to effectively communicate with each other in like useful and effective ways. And I don't know what in the world made them think that some of these statements and videos were going to go over well with black people, especially black liberals, like who we have to do work to communicate with effectively. Like, way back in the Ally video, my homegirl, Dr. Candace Hargins, made a comment about, like, do you want to have progress or do you want to be correct? You know what I'm saying? Like, folks are really caught up on being technically correct as opposed to building coalition and community and coming up with strong responses to conflicts and issues. Folks are more interested in style points and pithy comebacks and aren't considering how they sound and come off and whether or not they've actually done anything to help the situation. We live in an online world where everyone is trying to have a monologue written by Aaron Sorkin. If you don't know who Aaron Sorkin is, he's a TV writer who's written some great films and TV shows over the years, like Social Network and A Few Good Men. And he's really, really good at something that I think has like brainwormed so many people on the left. The grandstanding, put them in their place, owned by facts and logic monologue moment.
Yeah,
you know, that's why so many of these videos are
my favorite. It's that fucking viral clip where they're like, "Why is America the greatest country on earth?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, America's not the greatest country on earth. You dumb blonde sorority bitch. We're the 45th in math. We're the 78th in literacy. We're only good at military spending and people incarcerated higher than everywhere else in the world. Everyone's got freedom. You think we got freedom? Belgium's got freedom. Japan's got freedom." We're not the greatest country on earth, you fucking dumb bimbo 20-year-old sorority piece of shit bitch. You fucking whore. It's like, it's so funny. And then in fucking newsroom, the blonde humiliated sorority girl comes and asks him for a job. And I'm like, what fucking fantasy is this? Bro. That's so funny.
Such destroys conservative over abortion bill. Like that term, that word, destroy, that's an Aaron Sorkin thing.
No, I'm going to hold you to an answer on that. What makes America the greatest country in the world? What about the people? Why is America
not the greatest country in the world, Professor? That's my answer.
Oh my God.
Sharon, the NEA is a loser. Yeah, it accounts for a penny out of our paycheck, but he gets to hit you with it anytime he wants. It doesn't cost money. It costs votes. It costs airtime and column inches. You know why people don't like liberals? Because they lose. Sorority girl, just in case you accidentally wander into a voting booth one day, there's some things you should know, and one of them is there is absolutely no evidence.
I love the fantasy here is because after he does this, like humiliates her on stage and all this shit, like she goes and asks him for a job because she got inspired by it. It's like it's so retarded. Like at the end of the day, berating people is fun and it's entertaining. That's it. Like it might if you're doing it whilst providing arguments, you might help people with arguments going forward and all that. But like at the end of the day, it's not really the best way to get someone over to your side. Like, I hope you guys don't think when I'm fighting with that fucking Prometheus guy or whatever shithead that I'm trying to change their mind. Like, no, that's not the point.
Support the statement that we're the greatest country in the world. We're 7th in literacy, 27th in math, 22nd in science, 49th in life expectancy, 178th in infant mortality, 3rd in median household income, number 4 in labor force, and number...
Like specifically...
It's fucking destiny.
178th in infant mortality, 3rd in median household income.
Just to be clear, though, just because you're not changing the mind of the person you're berating, you are helping the people who might be on the fence, and you're also helping the people who are already on board with you to strengthen their arguments. That's the thing. Like, you can get that from a debate, but you can hold someone who might be very effective at propagandizing or might be very effective at prepared content, but you can hold their feet to the fire to maybe see like, okay, this thing that you made a video about and this thing that you provided some sound bites on and some like made the aesthetic of a good argument is like, can you actually stand up to scrutiny? And if you can show them up that they can't, that does actually work. So it's funny that like there is actually effective commentary against the Aaron Sorkin thing. The idea that berating someone is like a good way to get them to move over or whatever. But like this is also, but he's kind of dodged the good take about the Aaron Sorkin thing just to scratch an itch about his hatred for for debates on the internet and destiny and shit. That's really funny. Okay.
Number 4 in labor force and number...
Like specifically not definitely him, right? Because I think that's just the nature of some of these conversations. But the goal of having your Aaron Sorkin moment has made people stop being empathetic and effective and clear and concise with the issues and things we're trying to communicate. And we don't know how to talk to each other, but we do know what it feels like to get a standing ovation for having the best, strongest, most conservative, destroyed, got wrecked comeback that you can muster. Moments like that make for excellent TV, and they're cathartic. When an issue or topic is bothering you and someone who you see as intelligent and witty and well-learned can like nail the issue and nail exactly what you're feeling, that's cathartic. You want to hear someone you trust break something like that down. I get it. I'm good at this job for a reason. But you forget, people are forgetting that after you finish clapping at the awesome way that I or some other talking head broke down the issue is still there. And it's quite possible that what I said or someone else said hasn't brought us any closer to addressing that issue, especially if I spend more time being glib than being an effective communicator. I've said so many times, and I'll say it again, the forces behind these mediums do not care about anything but engagement. And if you do not resist the urge to engage and share rage bait, you are doing harm. You're doing harm. You're making things worse. possibly spreading that, in fact.
Even if you disagree, Destiny was able to mobilize all of his fans through his content. FD does nothing. That's not true. FD fundraises for those anarchist organizations that ended up getting RICO charges for racketeering. That's what happened to fucking Stop Cop City and shit. But apart from that, no, I don't get anything. Like I made a fucking solid effort to watch full FD Signifier videos because of like the fucking hype that he had around him and all his shit, and because he started like his video essay channel started getting like big around the same time that I was starting to make videos. So it was kind of like a fellow breadtuber or whatever. And then obviously when he starts going past me, I'm like, okay, I wonder what the breadtube audience is maybe looking towards instead. And I was like, oh, there's nothing here. There's like, I'm trying to watch through these videos and watch through the kind of stuff that he's trying to say. Like he doesn't say anything. It's all just the aesthetics of being measured and thoughtful, but not saying anything. And when he does make factual claims or like analytical claims, they're often bullshit. Like the way that he misrepresented those studies about deplatforming. We covered that on stream once, actually. He even tried to do a response to it in the comments and just ended up moving the goalposts. But or when he was trying to say that it's trying to suggest that he was one of the people who was trying to suggest that MLK's support for nonviolence was just pragmatic. Like he didn't morally believe it, which is retarded as well. He absolutely morally believed it as well. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know how the fuck you get anything from this. Yeah, it's waste of time. Whoa. What the fuck happened there? Do I... Down to watch Hakeem's Tiananmen Square video? Nope. Don't care. I have better things to do. I have better things to do with my life than to be a Hakeem React channel, okay? Like... Like January 6th research. Because we're almost done with that. Oh, fuck. Like Type Racer. Yes. Okay. No, I'm not green anymore. You guys need to start gifting memberships, please. Yeah, that's true. That's a really good take from 2-Bit Door. People do need to start gifting memberships. People also need to super chat. There's a lack of all kinds of things in this stream. Bruh. You think Tiananmen Square was bad? Look at how the American cops handled BLM and the campus protests. You did, and I fumbled it. Wait, what? What did I fumble? Did you didn't do anything? Not today, anyway. Oh, you did donate $5, though. Thank you so much. Lobster Derivatives. Good catch today. Keep up the good work, buddy. What is that referring to? When did you do that? I didn't see that. Oh, thanks, though. I really appreciate it. At least you have viewers. I mostly talk to myself twice a week. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good practice. They did need humanitarian aid. True. Humanitarian aid. I love it. I love the time that you have to wait to load up the January 6th commission. Oh. In the meantime. Bro, I'd even... Fuck. It's just that substantive. It is. I mean, it's all the fucking hyperlinks, probably, that makes it so strong, powerful. While I wait for it to load, I kind of want to do either a chess game or a type racer. Which one? Which one am I leaning towards? What's your favorite dinosaur? Don't know. All right, let's go. Because we need to get up to 100 and 120 would I'd chill out at 120 probably. Whoa. 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 $99. Oof. That was a hard one. I'm the red car. Shut up. Whoa. This person's actually a really fast typer. Look at that. Their best race is 222. I guess they just didn't want to play this one. Israel kill innocents. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, we captured it back from a pretty bad... No wonder this person's typing too slow because they're under JDAM fire, I guess. Huh. Egyptian, okay. Our average is dropping though. Oh, not good. Actually, I started that one late as well because the timer was going. I think the report's ready, okay. Whoa. I got slowed down like fuck there. Ooh. Lost to a guy on foot. Shut up. Why am I failing? Why am I retarded? Oh god. Let the Israeli win. He's ESL. Oh no. Quotation marks, colons. Oh no. Fuck. Fuck me. Okay, no, I'm giving up. Don't care. January 6th. All right. I think you have to be very intentional when you practice, okay? And trying to overdo it is probably not good. Okay. Don't want to set myself back. Okay. Whoa. So we're on, not this. We're not on this at all. What the fuck? Eastman. Thank you. We are on Scott Perry. Okay. That's here. I think we're on to the Clark letter. Yeah. Oh, this is an important one here. This Philadelphia, this PA theory. Okay. Oh, I need the footnote for this, actually. Pennsylvania. Because this is actually like a proper voter fraud claim. More votes. Shared the claim on Twitter. Trump kept on raising. Discrepancy. Website reporting. Okay. Footnote 180. Okay. 179, 180. I think we're near the end of this section. Yep. The only thing it doesn't have is like hyperlinking the footnotes back and forth. But what can you do? So this is all from the Select Committee. The interview of Peter Donahue. So it's delivered under oath. Is that good enough, or do I need more? I feel like sourcing the January 6th committee on its own isn't really going to be as convincing to the people you're trying to convince. That's actually not ideal. What do we do? Pennsylvania. Why? Okay. Is the committee itself not sourcing a Republican? Oh, you mean a rhino? What does AP say about it? Fact check, fact check, fact check. Incomplete data. Yeah, I know why it happened. I just want to know where the evidence is. Votes changed? No. Registering with no photo ID. More votes than voters. Official public documents from the Department of State show that 6,945,000 registered voters successfully cast a ballot, and that a total of 6,915,000 votes were recorded. Really? So if someone registers to vote, they're basically always going to vote, huh? Interesting. Okay. This is good. Okay. So where are people registering to vote? Where's that number coming from? 6,945. Just look at that. Lebanon. Lebanon mention. Registered. And this is recorded by, what's on page 8. By Department of State. Run. And this is the certificate of ascertainment. Oh, this is what a real one looks like. Okay. Number of votes cast for Biden. Where's the total here? 6,915. They don't have that number here, though. It would be a total. What is the total of? These two. Oh. Is this the number of votes that Biden won by? No, that wouldn't be right. Hang on. What is this telling you about the vote count? Votes. Oh, is it vote for Trump plus... Hang on. What the fuck? What numbers am I putting together here? What? I think it's... Oh. I think I got this. No. Oh, it is, yeah. Apart from that, there's a couple missing. Okay. Wait, did I add this properly? 9? Oh, no, I did this one backwards. Whoops. Okay, so it does add up. Okay. Okay. Oh. These are votes for Biden. These are votes for Trump. These are votes for Jorgensen, libertarian guy, isn't he? Yeah, okay. Cast. And the certificate. Okay. Now, what's the explanation? Did they give the explanation here? Because there was a discrepancy, but it's because one database failed to update. That's why. Hmm. Oh, full voter expert. Let's just see what they say. The November 2020 election was free, fair, safe, and secure. Claims of systemic voter fraud are devoid of any supporting evidence that have been consistently rejected by judges, government agencies. Okay. They certified the final results, outlines the process for counties to verify the number of votes and the number of ballots cast in each election. That process, which takes place during the official canvass, involves county boards of elections comparing the number of registered voters against the certificates returned by each election district that show the number of people who voted and the number of ballots cast. There's no evidence that any county board of elections failed to complete this post-election requirement or identified a discrepancy during this process that could have impacted the outcome of any election during the 2020 election. Okay. Including, trying to extrapolate numbers from the statewide Uniform Registry of Electors, SURE-based system on vote history contained in the full voter export file is not an accurate way to reconcile votes cast to the numbers of voters who participated in an individual election. While the SURE system is an important tool for country election officials to record the vote history for every individual registered voter in the Commonwealth, it was never intended to and should not be used to cross-check totals for any specific election. Voter records in SURE are constantly updated as new voters register, or registered voters move to a different county and have their record transferred, or voters have their record cancelled as a result of moving to a different state, death, or other cancellations pursuant to state and federal law, such as protracted inactivity. So, for example, a registered voter in Philadelphia County who voted in the November 2020 general election but moved to New Jersey the next day would have their voter record cancelled in the SURE system when Philadelphia's Board of Elections receives confirmation that the voter has moved. In that case, the voter's general information and the record of their having voted in November 2020 would no longer be listed in subsequent FVE files. The FVE is a snapshot of the moment in time it is downloaded and cannot therefore be used to create a reconciliation of votes cast in any individual election. Is that what they're referring to here, though? Because in the January 6th committee, they give a different explanation. The Secretary of State's websites. Election site not updated. Huh. Is this Pennsylvania though? Because here the total number is way higher than 5 million. It's like, was this also a particular point in time? Huh. I don't understand what's happening here. Does anyone know about this claim in detail? I have no idea what's going on here. Okay. Weird. Whatever. Let's move on. Let's not get hung up on that. The Clark letter. On December 28th, 2020, Clark sent a 5-page draft letter to Donahue and Rosen. The letter was addressed to 3 Georgia state officials. Oh, the Clark letter. This is the one thing that I was missing, because Trump did this with a guy who had nothing to do with the job that Trump wanted with election stuff in the DOJ. December 28th. The Clark letter. Five-page. Rosen and Donahue is the deputy, the acting attorney general and the deputy acting attorney general after Bill Barr's fucked off, right? The letter was addressed to 3 Georgia state officials, Governor Brian Kemp, Speaker of the House David Ralston, and President pro tempore of the Senate Butch Miller. Okay. Addressed to 3 Georgia state officials. It contained places for Rosen and Donahue to affix their signatures, which they steadfastly refused to do. The letter, if signed and sent, may very well have provoked a constitutional crisis. Interesting. The letter was attached to an email from Clark in which he requested authorization to attend a classified briefing by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, led by DNI Ratcliffe on foreign election interference issues. ODNI did not find any foreign interference in the voting process or counting, but Clark apparently believed some of the conspiracy theories that had been floated. Specifically, Clark claimed that hackers have evidence in the public domain that a Dominion machine accessed the internet through a smart thermostat with a net connection trail leading back to China. This is what okay. Clark added, ODNI may have additional classified evidence. This crackpot claim had been shared by other Trump officials and associates as well. Ultimately, after Clark received the ODNI briefing, he acknowledged to Donahue that there was nothing in the briefing that would have supported his earlier suspicion about foreign involvement. Wow. Okay. Clark intended to send the letter to officials in Georgia and several other contested states that President Trump needed to flip if he was going to overturn the election results. The Department of Justice is investigating irregularities in the 2020 election for President of the United States. Okay. This is what the letter read. Clark continued, the department will update you as we are, whoa, God, able on investigatory progress, but at this time we have identified significant concerns that may have impacted the outcome of the election in multiple states, including the state of Georgia. Clark continued by arguing that Georgia's state legislature should call a special session. In light of these developments, the department recommends that the Georgia General Assembly should convene in a special session so that its legislators are in a special position to take additional testimony, receive new evidence, and deliberate on the matter consistent with its duties under the U.S. Constitution. Okay. Letter called for a special session in Georgia. Clark referenced the fake electors that the president and his campaign organized and argued that there were 2 competing false slates of electors, competing slates of electors, both of which were legitimate, and argued that there were 2 slates of electors, both of which were legitimate. I didn't know about this part. This is what they talk when people talk about Trump misusing the DOJ, right? Because this guy, Tim Clark, I think he's involved in environmental affairs in the DOJ. He's like a nobody. No one knows who the fuck he is. But Trump sees in him potential because he supports the voter fraud stuff. So Trump even suggests, I think, making this guy the deputy or the attorney general. But yeah, Clark basically gets this letter from the DOJ, which he's not supposed to do, to Georgia legislators and if the acting and deputy attorney generals had signed it, that would mean that there'd be like the DOJ saying that these slates of electors are legitimate, which is kind of crazy. So he's basically trying to use the Justice Department very, very improperly to try and get special sessions and to try and continue the fucking voter frauds allegations. The department believes that Georgia and several other states, both a slate of electors supporting Joseph R. Biden and a separate slate of electors supporting Donald J. Trump, gathered on December 14th, 2020, at the proper location to cast their ballots, and that both sets of those ballots have been transmitted to Washington, D.C. to be opened by Vice President Pence. Clark wrote. The letter was a lie. Senior DOJ officials Barr, Rosen, and Donahue had repeatedly stated the opposite. They found no evidence of fraud that would have impacted the election's results. None. But since mid-November, Trump's campaign legal team and Giuliani attempted to execute its dual-track strategy of both filing lawsuits and convincing state legislatures in contested states to appoint separate slates of presidential electors for Donald Trump. By late December, however, the dual-track approach had largely failed, and no legislatures had sent a second lawful slate of electors to Congress. Clearly, President Trump and his campaign team could not get the job done. So the president and those around him sought to use the hefty imprimatur of the U.S. Department of Justice to achieve the same thing. What does this word say? What does this word even mean?
Imprimatur.
Imprimatur. Really?
Imprimatur.
What does it mean? Authoritative approval. Imprimatur. Wow. What a word. No doubt, a letter coming from the Department of Justice is different from a meandering call from Giuliani or one of his associates. And because it was December 28th and there was little more than a week until the January 6th session of Congress, President Trump needed more, and soon. Clark's letter, which laid out a plan that was almost identical to what Trump and his team had pressured state officials to carry out virtually since Election Day, could have been just what President Trump needed. Several examples demonstrate the parallels between President Trump's and Rudolph Giuliani's approach to overturning the election in November and December, and what Clark proposed in this letter. First, the letter sought to have the Georgia state legislature convene a special session to focus on the allegations of fraud in the election. Giuliani and his team had been making calls to state legislatures and telling them in both official and unofficial state legislature committee hearings that legislators should convene in special sessions. They also argued that state legislatures had the authority to convene a special session themselves, despite limitations in state law requiring such a session to be convened by the governor. Clark included the same argument in his draft letter. Additionally, the draft letter recommended that the Georgia legislature consider choosing the alternative, fake slate of electoral college electors that sent fake electoral college votes to Congress and Vice President Pence. Having state legislatures choose Trump electors in states where President Trump lost was one of the Trump team's early goals immediately after the election, but it didn't work. When no state legislature appointed its own set of electors before December 14th, the Trump campaign arranged for electors to meet in contested states anyway and cast fake electoral college votes. This letter, with the Department of Justice seal at the top, was just one more way that President Trump and those close to him could pressure state officials to send competing electoral college votes to Congress for consideration during the joint session, despite former Vice President Biden's certified victory in each of the contested states. Love your Ukraine content. Bro, you guys, the fucking Ukraine people are everywhere in my chat now. Despite the similarities between the requests in Clark's proposal letter and the request that President Trump and his team made to state officials for nearly 2 months, the extent to which Clark directly coordinated his actions with the Trump campaign and its outside advisors is unclear. Okay. Similarities with Trump's things Trump and his team had tried. For On special sessions. Thanks, chat. You guys are very cute. Did you hear about Twitter being blocked in Brazil? Yep, don't really know what to make of it. It's just kind of wild, isn't it? It's one way to fight bad speech, isn't it? Maybe not the best way, but... Despite some states to do this, convened by the governor. 2. Nature. Okay. Right. Elkters. Wow. Wow. Clark asserted his Fifth Amendment rights and various other privileges to avoid answering the Select Committee's questions about these and other topics. Okay, levels of communication between Clark and Trump are unclear. Clark pled the Fifth when asked. When Giuliani was asked during his Select Committee deposition whether he remembered discussing DOJ issues, the DOJ issuing a letter like Clark's, Giuliani refused to answer because it implicated attorney-client privilege with President Trump. But when asked if he recalled ever recommending that Clark be given election-related responsibilities at DOJ, Giuliani said, "I do recall saying to people that somebody should be put in charge of the Justice Department who isn't frightened of what's going to be done to their reputation, because the Justice Department was filled with people like that." The investigation also revealed that Clark and John Eastman were in communication throughout this period. Okay. All right. One person who had worked with Eastman and others in his circle was a lawyer installed to work with Clark at the Department of Justice in mid-December. The final weeks of the Trump administration named Ken Klukowski. Oh my God. Ken Klukowski. Klukowski was a Trump administration political appointee serving as a senior counsel under Clark in DOJ's Civil Division. After serving as a lawyer in the Office of Management and Budget for more than a year and volunteering as a lawyer for the Trump campaign after Election Day, Klukowski only joined the department when the administration's personnel staff expedited his appointment because the White House Presidential Personnel Office wanted him in soon. On the morning of December 28th, Clark asked Klukowski to draft the Georgia letter for him. Clark dictated the substantive key points of the letter to Klukowski and told him exactly what to include. After several meetings with Clark throughout the day to update him on progress, Klukowski turned in his assignment and gave the letter to Clark, which Clark sent along to Acting Attorney General Rosen and Acting Deputy Attorney General Donahue, as described above. Donahue quickly responded to Clark's email, stating, "There is no chance that I would sign this letter or anything remotely like this. The plan set forth by Clark was not even within the realm of possibility." Donoghue warned that if they'd sent Clark's letter, it would be a grave step for the department to take, and it could have tremendous constitutional, political, and social ramifications for the country. Contrary to President Trump and Clark's wild claims about the election, Donoghue stressed that the DOJ's ongoing investigations related to matters of such a small scale, they simply would not impact the outcome of the presidential election. Clark's assertion to the contrary was baseless. Donoghue and Rosen reaffirmed their strong position to the draft letter opposition in a contentious meeting with Clark on December 28th. What you are doing is nothing less than the United States Justice Department meddling in the outcome of a presidential election. Donoghue admonished Clark, to which Clark indignantly responded, "I think a lot of people have meddled in this election." Meddling in the outcome of a page. Under questioning by Rosen and Donoghue, Clark eventually also revealed that he had been in a meeting in the Oval Office with President Trump. Donoghue demanded to know, why the hell are we hearing your name from the President of the United States and a congressman? When Clark was reminded that meeting the President without authorization or informing his superiors was a clear violation of the White House contacts policy, he retorted, "It's a policy. There's a lot more at stake here than just a policy. In fact, the contacts policy was designed for situations just like this, where political figures might try to influence criminal investigations or legal actions taken by the Department of Justice, as President Trump attempting to do so." In the days that followed, Clark called witnesses, got a briefing from ODNI, and pursued his own investigations. Acting Deputy Attorney General Donoghue was shocked to learn that Clark did not cease his efforts even after learning there was no foreign interference. Instead of adhering to the facts, Clark doubled down. During a follow-up meeting on January 2nd, Clark acknowledged that he had received the ODNI briefing, and he acknowledged that there was nothing in the briefing that would have supported his earlier suspicion about foreign involvement. But he nevertheless spewed out some of these theories, some of which we'd heard from the president, but others which were floating around the internet and media, and just kept insisting that the department needed to act and needed to send those letters. Damn. Policy, because it's criminal. By the department. All right. December 29th meeting, and then what else do we have? 10 pages. Okay, my throat is hurting quite a bit, so I am going to take the evening off. Okay, okay. I do have a new video out, though, and it's reviewing Hassan versus Traveling Israel. So if you guys are into that bullshit, go have a look at that. Inbuilt into Zionism. Shut up, Loner Box. Okay. Go there. Or go somewhere else. Whatever. Whatever makes you happy. Okay. Take care, guys. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.